Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 40. The big 40. Holy crap. The podcast is finally 5 years older than me. It's pretty awesome. How you guys doing tonight? It is a wonderful night. Before we get into why it's wonderful, I need to remind you that we have a co-host to my left. Your guys is right, dead center. Mr. Eric Moore. How's it going, buddy?
Good.
Having a good day? Good work week?
Yeah, actually, it's not terrible. So
finally a good week.
Some changes at work, and it's starting to slowly get better. So,
yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
There'll be some big changes at my house coming up soon, and it'll be nice when it's done. It'll be a pain in the ass to get it there. And all the way to my left and your guys is right, the returning 2 weeks in a row, the undefeated maestro of getting you guys hard to get, heavily scalped home consoles, Mr. Jake Randall. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, it's great. It's great to be on. How are you guys doing?
Oh,
how's the chat doing?
It's a beautiful day because today we got a Nintendo Direct. Oh, did we get a Nintendo Direct? 40 minutes, the first Direct of the year. Chances are we won't see another one for 4 months. They do one about every 4 months, likely during June, likely during what we hope is a digital E3. We don't really know it's going to happen. As long as they leave Verizon 5G behind them, I'm okay with it coming back for the most part. Some other companies need to step up their game a bit. But,
by the way, this is episode 38.
Is it? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's awkward.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. The numbers are off.
When the hell did we get
I screwed up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a screw up, guys. All right.
Fair enough.
That means I'm always a big screw up. Don't worry about it. We have a lot to talk about because obviously today was one of the 3 biggest Nintendo news days of the year. Because as I said, they do about 3 of these big general directs a year. There's other news that trickles out throughout the time, stuff they do. There'll be Pokemon Presents and individual game directs, Nintendo Direct Minis. But this was one of the big ones. Okay, 40 minutes long. That's basically like what we usually get for E3. And they had a surprising amount of brand new announcements today. So obviously this entire podcast, we are talking about that. But before we do, we'll start off with what we usually do, a little bit of banter on what have we been playing lately. So I'll toss it out to Jake because he was having a very interesting conversation with Eric right before we got started. So Jake, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing more Pokemon Legends Arceus. I mentioned last week that I wanted to start the Dying Light Anniversary Edition so I could then try to get into Dying Light 2. And I have not started the original Dying Light yet, so I still want to start playing that at some point. But I've been kind of like this last week for like my entertainment. I've been back and forth between just like binge watching like random old 90s movies and 2000s movies and then switching over to playing Pokemon Arceus. And the reason why is like what I was mentioning to Eric is that I'm starting to get like I'm 15 hours in to Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm like I mentioned last week, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Like the traditional style games, I can't get enough. I always play them through to completion. But I'm 15 hours in and I feel like I'm probably not even halfway through the game, even though I've put a lot of time in. And I'm just getting like burnt out, and like I'll play for like a couple hours and then I just like need to stop because it's so like samey to me and it just like gets overwhelming. And then like I'll watch like a couple movies or whatever, and then maybe I'll come back to it because I am like really curious as to what happens next. But a lot of time in the process of me playing it and getting there, I kind of bored it. Like it's hard to like keep me hooked. And I don't think that's necessarily like the consensus opinion by any means. I'm not saying it's a bad game by any means. Maybe just like my tastes are a little different than what they used to be. I don't know, because the other thing I was mentioning is my favorite game that's come out in the last like year and a half has been Returnal. And that's a game where it's like there's no text at all. It's just action. There's no tutorials. Nothing's explained to you. You don't have to like grind to like get a certain number of entries on like certain things. You just shoot stuff. It's just like shooty bang bang, like nonstop action. And I normally in the past like haven't really liked games like that, but like I don't know, this like last year just like games where it doesn't. I mean, the thing is that game does kind of take an investment to like get good at it. It's not like it's like you just play it and it's super easy. But like games like that and Metroid Dread, I had a lot of fun with. And yeah, I don't know, but I'm still gonna keep playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. I still like it and I still support it. I'm still glad they decided to do something different. But for whatever reason, it's just I have a hard time, like keeping my attention all the time.
That's all right. I mean, I fundamentally disagree, but that's okay. I'm also not someone that likes the traditional Pokemon games, so yeah. It, obviously, different strokes for different folks. Eric, what have you been playing lately?
Not a whole lot.
So nothing.
No, I did play a little bit more Pokemon, but not much. I mean, it was probably another couple hours, but I've gotten to the point where, God, where the heck was I? Just after they opened up the world to completing parts of the Pokedex and stuff like that. So not too far. I think it was back to the training dojo thing, whatever that I needed to go to.
Yep.
So that's all the further I've gotten. But
still haven't got past Cleaver.
No.
Long ways to go. Long ways to go. Yeah. Might have 100 hours to go still. So.
Yeah, it's possible.
Cool. I haven't really touched my Switch too much. I did play a little bit of Legends Arceus over the weekend. Not a ton though. It was a really busy weekend. My kids had a school dance and just some other stuff. But I did play Wii Sports with my kids, which is very interesting considering something that was announced today that I won't need a Wii for anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that was pretty much my gaming over the last week. Again, not a ton. Yeah, I did my Madden leagues here and there, but I don't really like bringing that up because who really cares, right? We're getting to the point where maybe in like a month I might not even be doing them anymore. So because we're getting out of football season.
There's a sports game announced today that I'm actually really excited about. Might not be what you're thinking of either.
Is it? Hold on. Is it e-baseball from Konami?
Sorry?
Definitely not e-baseball. I just was wondering. E-baseball was announced by Konami today. Japan only.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Well, I was trying to think of like a game that we would talk about today.
And MLB, the show.
Yep. Nice. So, I guess we don't have to wait. We could just like get into this because we have a lot to talk about. I'm just gonna first off, obviously, guys, we have the direct already, right? I did my live reaction. Eric obviously didn't get to live react because he was at work.
I was live reacting,
and Jake was doing his stuff over there. By the way, Jake, I'm glad to see you're feeling better. You announced that you weren't feeling good earlier, so thank you for still sticking by the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like I kind of know my body, and I'm like, and I do better at night than in the morning. Part of that is because with my CF, when I first wake up, everything's like settled in my lungs, like all the mucus and stuff. So I know that once I get up and move around later into the day, I'm normally a lot better. So I just know myself, right? So I knew I would probably be okay for this, but I wasn't okay for the direct earlier.
Well, I'm glad to have you here, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Before we get into specific games, for anyone who might have missed the direct, I just want to go over the entire list. At least this is what they announced, I think, in North America and the UK. I'll mention a couple things that were Japan only, but they're Japan only, so that doesn't really matter too much for us over here. But we got Fire Emblem, Three Hopes. Well, Fire Emblem Warriors, I should say Three Hopes to clarify that it is a Warriors game. Coming out on June 24th. We have Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp confirmed for April 8th. No Man's Sky coming out this year. Mario Strikers Battle League Football coming out June 10th. Splatoon 3, to clarify, Splatoon 3 is set for summer of 2022. Front Mission First Remake is set for this year. Front Mission 2 is also going to be coming. No date for that one yet, though. Disney Speedstorm is coming and will be free to play. So that is like a Mario Kart style Disney version. We have Star Wars Force Unleashed coming on April 20th. We have Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection coming February 17th, which I think that's the only game they announced that's coming this month, if I remember right. SD Gundam Battle Alliance is coming later this year. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition, is coming April 7th. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, of course, we already knew it was coming March 25th, but we saw a look at the game today with some new gameplay mechanics. MLB The Show coming on April 5th. We saw first Switch footage, and they went pretty in-depth in a very short amount of time about like all the features that are literally the same with other platforms, including some really neat features with cross-platform and also like cross-saves. That was really, really cool. We'll probably talk about that a little bit because I think that's perfect for anyone that's like, yeah, it looked rough. Hey, you could play this on like your PlayStation 5 and then pop off on your Switch on the go with the same save files. And like, this is really cool. Like it's, they really thought, we're very forward thinking with how to handle MLB The Show on Switch to make it enticing, especially for people who want to double dip. Next up, they had Kingdom Hearts Cloud Edition showed. Obviously, you know, we already knew about that. The Clona Fantasy Reverie Series 1 and 2 coming out July 8th. We got the Portal Companion Collection, which is Portal 1 and Portal 2 coming out later this year. Live Alive, they kind of 2D HD'd that one up. That used to only be a Japanese game. That's coming out here July 22nd. Nintendo Switch Sports, that was a big one, coming out April 29th. The Taikono no Tatsuni Rhythm Festival, I probably butchered it, coming out later this year. Triangle Strategy, coming out March 4th. Cuphead's final DLC, coming out on June 30th. We did get a Metroid Dread free update that's coming in April that adds 2 difficulties.
That's today. That came out today.
Oh, did it come out today?
Okay. April 1 is Boss Rush.
Okay, Boss Rush. Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Well, and the crazy part of that too is that the demo is getting the update too. That's insane.
Well, because I think the demo transfers over.
Oh, okay.
I think
that would make sense.
I'm not 100% sure though. Anyways, yes. Okay, so thanks for clarifying that. This is just a giant list I'm reading off. Earthbound 1 and 2 Nintendo Switch Online is out now, so go enjoy those games on the base Nintendo Switch Online. That's what's so great about that. Finally, an update. The base package. Zombie Army 4 Dead War coming out April 26th. Gets Fumaden Undying Moon is out now. Demon Slayer Kimetsu Yo Yaba I'm not even going to attempt Chronicles. Just End of Chronicles coming out June 10th. Lego Brawls June. 2 Point Campus coming May 17th. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. It's going to have a slow rollout with 6 different things for it happening all the way through 2023. So that's probably 3 of them a year, I would assume. And then obviously they ended with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in September. In Japan, there was
I think there was one game missed in there.
What?
Was Reboot Camp in there?
Yeah, I already talked about that. That was way at the beginning.
I didn't see it there.
That was way at the beginning.
Okay.
Yep, coming out April 8th. Loop 8 was announced in Japan. So was eBaseball. That's why I brought up eBaseball, because I'm like, that's a sports game no one's going to talk about because it's eBaseball in Japan only. And a couple of these other titles, I'm not really sure what they're called. This one is the Sentinel Case Shijima story is also coming out in Japan from Square Enix. So again, a lot of those games that they put in the Japanese Direct are in the Japanese Direct because we're not getting them. So anyways, that is the full on list. So where do we want to start? Because obviously we're not going to sit here and talk for 17 hours on every single title. Not realistic. But let's just start with like what game excited us the most, and maybe let's spend a little time talking about each one of those going across the room. Let's go right to left. So we'll start with Jake. What game out of the Direct today excited you the most?
It's really hard for me to pick just one. Like I said last week, I'm a big RPG guy. Like Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, right? So I was actually, there's a lot of RPG stuff announced today, obviously, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. A lot of people would say the biggest one, but I was actually super excited. I think maybe the most excited for Chrono Cross Remastered, which I love so much more than Chrono Trigger. It's the spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger. It's not like a direct sequel. It came out on the PS1. But I'm just like absolutely thrilled to be able to play that on my Switch. I understand it's essentially going to be like playing the PS1 game. Like, sure, it's like remastered, but it's not a different game. They haven't really done anything to it, right? So it's just like, apparently there's an echo, by the way, on me, you guys. Okay. So hopefully that'll be fixed in a second here. and background static. Interesting.
We should be good.
Okay, all right. So I'll try to keep going. So Chrono Cross, just for me personally, I'm just really excited for, because that's like one of those. It's from the same era as Final Fantasy VII. It's one of those mid '90s JRPGs, and like that, like just like takes me back to like my childhood, like how I fell in love with gaming. So I'm really excited just to be able to play that on the Switch. But then the other one, if I'm going to cheat here and have two, that I'm low key really excited for, is Nintendo Switch Sports. And I think that game is going to crush it, because if you look like something like Ring Fit Adventure, which was kind of very niche and weird, it crushed it because of the pandemic and like everyone's having to be inside. And Nintendo Switch Sports, I think, has a much broader appeal in that game. And like everyone remembers like how fun Wii Bowling was when it came out. And just like the fact that we can do all that stuff and play with our friends online, assuming the Switch like figures out the online for this and it's good. That's another one where, and so those are like two kind of out there games, which might not be everyone's like most hyped for, but those are the ones that like I'm thinking about the actual experience of playing them, and I'm just like, I'm super excited for.
Yeah. So the thing with Chrono Cross is I personally wasn't too excited about it. Now I'm glad it's back, and they definitely like up-resed it, which is really nice. I would have like. Well, it was funny because like at one point they said like Chrono Cross Remastered. I'm like, I'm sorry, up-resing a game is not remastering a game. Can we get what a remaster really like means here? It's not even put in the widescreen. They didn't really update a whole lot, but it is good that it's coming back. I'm not knocking that. It's just I wish they would just say, hey, we got an up-resed port of Chrono Cross coming. Like that's fine, nothing wrong with that. Honestly, that's what Nintendo Switch Online games basically are. Up-res ports. That's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Perfectly fine. But otherwise, it's a really great game. Really takes me back to childhood and all that. But Nintendo Switch Sports, I mean, of course, you had to go for a twofer. You couldn't just stick with one. Nintendo Switch Sports. And we're playing a little bit of some people. It looks incredible. No, we're not. This is Nintendo Switch Sports.
I know, but we're not playing it.
It's on us. Yeah, hold on. Why is it on us?
I don't know.
See, I don't understand.
I was going to point that out earlier.
Well, wait to not point it out to me.
Sorry, I thought you saw it.
No, it was just working too. Like, it's impossible for it to be us. There's literally no, like, that is what it's supposed to be. There's no way. It shouldn't be that way.
That ain't it.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. You'll see. It'll update.
Okay.
It'll update.
It could have been that my mic
give it a second.
My speaker.
Give it a second.
You should be fine now.
Now we're good. Yep. Okay.
Yep. A little off center though.
Yes.
I will fix that. I don't know what is going on with my setup today. Anyways, just as I'm fixing this, Nintendo Switch Sports looks incredible to me.
Yes, it does.
There isn't a whole lot I have to complain about with it. Other than saying this, the Miis are almost uncanny now. Mm-hmm. They went from being those cute little things that it's a little bit uncanny. And we'll show you this in a moment. It's just a smidge uncanny. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being unreasonable. But to me,
I think Game Freak must have designed them.
You think Game Freak did?
It looks like Pokemon Sword and Shield, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But like it does feel a little uncanny, and I don't know. I mean, besides that, I think it looks incredible. I have basically no complaints.
We're missing baseball and boxing. The original.
That's okay. So it's not the original. It's a different game.
I liked baseball, man. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, so I can hear and understand complaints about like missing games from Wii Sports or Wii Sports Resort or Archery. Like
yeah.
But they also added games. Yeah, like no. I don't expect each entry of the sports franchise for Nintendo to feature the same sports. I think that's like this Chambara. That's brand new.
Yeah.
They added in soccer. They added in badminton, volleyball. Like they added all these other sports in that are totally the running animations are a little funny.
Soccer with the leg strap seems really cool.
Yeah. Now it won't. Yeah, you can't use the leg strap at launch for it. Only for like a mini game part.
Oh, yeah,
but,
for the shootout.
Yeah, but later this year they said you'll be able to do it. Basically, the game is still in development. let's just be honest. The game is still in development, and there's even a couple sports getting added later because of it. So it'd be very interesting to see. I haven't looked on the eShop yet to see what the pricing strategy is on this. If they're charging a full 60 or what yet. But yeah, this is. I like what I see. The thing is, the only thing I have against it again is that because they're releasing 2 sports later, they're releasing a feature for one of the main games in it later with the leg strap. It makes me go.
Well, the leg strap is there at launch. It's just
no. Yes. But if you listen to what they said, the leg strap will be usable in standard play later.
No. It's usable in the mini game at launch. But but the standard play won't be added till later. But the leg strap is still fully usable for the mini game at launch.
I think that's exactly what I just said.
Oh, okay. All right. That's my bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. The reason that I say this is because you have a gameplay feature for an accessory that's included that doesn't come till later, and then you're adding 2 sports later. My only criticism really is, man, why are we missing content at launch? Like, I'm looking at a screen. All of them support online play. That's great. Cool. All of them support multiplayer. I think some support up to 8 or something like that. Cool, whatever. I see volleyball, badminton, bowling, soccer, chambra, and tennis. I think those are the 6 it's launching with. And I'm fine with them adding more sports later. It doesn't really bother me in the sense. It's that Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort were feature complete at launch. And this isn't. And it feels weird to me to have another game from Nintendo come. And again, playing devil's advocate, because I'm going to get this game. I'm going to play it. I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love it because I love their sports games before. As long as they didn't mess up the gameplay, I'm going to love it. I mean, they had that whole giant bowling tournament thing you can do with the league and all. Like, that's awesome. I love it. But I am going to not let Nintendo off the hook for the fact that it is technically an unfinished product at launch. Because Nintendo's really good about not giving us those unfinished products. Animal Crossing, pretty complete. Yeah, they added stuff over time, but the base game was a complete game. Breath of the Wild was a complete game at launch. Mario Odyssey.
I would disagree about Animal Crossing. I think a lot of players feel that it was not a complete game. Like,
what do you think it was missing at launch to make it a complete game?
An Animal Crossing cartridge,
sure,
you're missing like over half of the content. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I'm like when you played it at launch. By the way, day one updates aren't. I don't know. Are we holding that against games for having day one updates?
I know. I'm not including day one updates at all. I'm talking like way down the line, huge content that was added months later.
Well, okay, sure. But Animal Crossing, and this is something with Animal Crossing specifically and Splatoon, are games that trickle things to it over time because it's a never-ending experience. I personally, and this is just, I guess, my personal thoughts, I thought Animal Crossing was $60 at launch. Fine with me. They've added new features since then. They've added new content since then. So it was all free.
Yeah, I guess my confusion is if you feel that way about Animal Crossing, why wouldn't you feel that way about this? Because like with this, at least they're being completely upfront. They're like, hey, you're only going to get this at launch. This and this will come later, and it's your choice.
Yes.
Whether you want to buy it now
here's
or
why.
wait for everything
Here's
to be
why.
complete.
Here's why. If they added 0 content to Animal Crossing ever, it was still a complete game at launch.
I disagree.
Now, people can disagree because Animal Crossing always adds new things over time. That's the way Animal Crossing's always been. New Leaf was that way.
So here's why I disagree, is because if you look at New Leaf 3DS, that at launch had like over half the features that New Horizons was lacking at launch. And those were features that were always intended to be adding at New Horizons, but because they didn't want to delay it again, they intentionally did it, knowing they would add that stuff later, and they released an incomplete game when you base it on every other release in the series. If you look at like Battlefield or whatever, that launched with stuff that was missing that was in every other entry. Animal Crossing did the same thing, and they did it knowing they were doing that, knowing that they intended that stuff to be in the game, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? That's like
sure, kind
of like where I'm coming from on it. But I do see your point too.
Well, my side is mostly sure. I obviously I didn't get deep in the New Leaf, so I'm not even sure what all the features were in that game. So I'm not even sure what's there and not there in this game. All I'm telling you is someone who played the game at launch, okay, yeah, it was missing some New Leaf features. Yeah, and it also had a crap load of features that were never in New Leaf. Like, this isn't New Leaf. I don't have expectations of New Leaf features to be in a brand new game. It's kind of like here. I don't expect there to be all the sports from Wii Sports Resort or even from the base Wii Sports. I don't expect all those sports to be here. It's a new game. It shouldn't have to worry about having feature complete sports with the other games. To me, it'd be kind of like, and we'll get into this later, I'm sure, with Mario Kart, but like releasing Mario Kart 9, but expecting everything that's ever been in Mario Kart to be there. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't. That shouldn't be our expectations. And maybe Smash Bros. Ultimate has spoiled us because Smash Bros. Ultimate tried to do that.
Mario Kart
Switch OLED just came into stock at Amazon. If anyone's trying.
Hey, Switch OLED at stock at Amazon. If you're trying to get Switch OLED, we have the man, the myth, the legend.
Sorry,
here.
sorry, man.
Oh no, you're good.
How to stop? Hey, let the people know.
I thought that you were also trying to get one, Nate. That's also why I said that.
I have a Switch OLED, but yeah, I'm giving it away. So yeah. Anyways.
I thought you were trying to get another one at some point.
Yes, but I'll be okay. I'll be okay. We're waiting on certain money to come in, so it being in stock now won't help me right now, but that's okay. Anyways, so yeah, no, it's okay. I'll put it this way: you appreciate there being upfront that you're going to get content later. They obviously didn't say that with Animal Crossing, saying that there'll be new features added later. With Animal Crossing New Horizons. My point is, I thought the game was complete enough at launch that they didn't need to talk about anything else that might get added for free later. Whereas this is like, hey, we have our 6 sports, but by the way, one of our sports has a feature in it that you can't even use right now. And by the way, we have 2 more sports coming later, which, hey, feel confident these sports are going to be good, but like, yeah, that's it. Just be confident. Be happy it's going to happen. And the thing is, the reason I'm probably more critical now is, one, obviously, I'm not as big in Animal Crossing as other people. I love Animal Crossing. I thought New Horizons was great. So I didn't care about those nuanced features that maybe we're missing because we got terraforming and all the, crafting and all these things that have never been in Animal Crossing before that were taking up way more of my time than anything else I've ever done in Animal Crossing. And 2, Nintendo is starting to stack up a history of having games that don't feel complete. Example, we did not have full online play in Mario Party, the first one that came out. Did not exist. We could only do mini games. We couldn't do actual matches. Then they added a free update last year. Felt like it was really missing. Okay, cool. We got that. Now it's in the new Mario Party game. Okay, whatever. They've never had online play before, so who cares? Fine. Okay, say that doesn't matter. Okay, then what about Mario Golf Super Rush? Besides the single player being a disappointment, that's personal opinions, the online mode didn't have any way to rank yourself. And then they added that later without ever telling you they were going to add it later. Felt like it wasn't feature complete because of it. And just several other games they keep coming out with just seem to be missing stuff. Now, Splatoon is a game I always expect to be missing stuff because it started out that way. Splatoon is essentially Nintendo's service game without charging you a fee every month. So it's basically like their live service game. They charge you $60 up front. You never pay again until, a massive expansion anyways. You never pay again, and they just keep adding content, keep adding features, because that's the way the first game was. They set that expectation that every game after was going to be that way. Wii Sports has never been this way. Wii Sports has never been, hey, we're going to add a key gameplay feature later. Hey, we're going to add sports later. It's, here's the game, here it's complete, buy it. And now they're doing that with this game. And maybe Animal Crossing has been that way too again. New Leaf is the one game I didn't really play a lot of. I was big into the original GameCube one, and then I was really big into this one on Switch. So me missing out on New Leaf might skew my opinion there with Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I know some people are going to say that's blasphemy, Nate. That was like the best one. Okay, I get it. We all have our favorites. Okay, just like I love Pokemon Legends Arceus, and people like other Pokemon games.
There was Wild World on the DS, then there was City Folk on the Wii.
Yeah.
Then there was New Leaf on the.
Yep. And I love City Folk. Loved City Folk. But again, just didn't really get into. To be fair, guys, when it came to handhelds, I really didn't play handheld games after I turned 18, like back in 2005. The only handheld games I really played after that were Zelda. So it's kind of a, whatever. And the funny thing is, here I am in my mid 30s, and I'm back to playing Switch in handheld mode.
Oh, I just want to clarify for the chat real quick. People keep asking like what the 2 sports are, golf and what else. It's soccer, guys. So at launch, there's only like a mini game for soccer. and they're actually adding like full matches of soccer later. So soccer's the second sport after golf, even though it says soccer on there.
Yeah.
I thought the full soccer was there. It's just you couldn't use the leg strap. That was my understanding of it. You could still play the full soccer, but it's just
so. Then what would the second sport be, Nate? Besides golf,
I don't think there is a second sport. I think it's just golf.
Hold on, they got their thing.
So I think it's just the like.
Here, I'm just gonna let this play and see if I notice it.
It's two updates. It's golf and the leg strap for.
I sort of said 2 sports. I could be wrong though. Again, I only watched through this once. There's golf. Golf to be added this fall.
Yep, I think that was it then.
Okay, so yeah, golf to be added this fall, and then the leg.
Right
then
before that was the
support.
soccer strap thing. Right before
yeah, leg strap accessory play for matches. So matches should already be there at
matches
launch.
are there.
So just
Gotcha.
can't use the leg strap.
Yep.
So leg strap and golf to be added later.
So theoretically, I mean, the only feature that's missing out of this game is the leg strap for soccer.
Sure, and an entire sport.
Honestly, though, if they didn't even tell us about that sport, you wouldn't know it. And then if all of a sudden they just drop it, hey, cool, here's another sport.
I know.
I mean, it's...
But they did tell us.
They did, but... I don't know. To me,
to play devil's advocate again, if they had not told us about golf, or if just golf wasn't a thing, would you think this is an incomplete game? Because that's essentially what Animal Crossing did, was they just didn't tell us, right?
Not missing a key leg strap gameplay feature that they're including with the physical version now. They're including an accessory that's only usable in a mini game when it's intended to be used in full matches. So I still wouldn't consider it feature complete. Okay. This would be like releasing Wii Sports Resort and saying, oh, by the way, we're going to include the Motion Plus accessory, which they did. But then, by the way, Motion Plus doesn't actually work on anything for the next 6 months. Have a good day. And that breaks.
Would it be like Motion Plus didn't work on anything for the next 6 months, or would it be like Motion Plus doesn't work on
it didn't work on one game,
one sport?
Either way, it'd still be feature incomplete to me.
I think it's very different to have an accessory not work with every sport versus one.
You're right. You're right. I love it, dude. I love Jake. He's just calling me.
Dude, I love it.
I love it. I love it, man. This is why I love having Jake on. You don't put up with my shit. Yeah, I ain't letting you get away with your shit now, Kevin.
Because we're like friends, so we're comfortable doing that. I love it.
For sure.
Seriously, I've been on podcasts where people get pissed off when you're like correcting them. It's like, it's cool. Correct me live, guys. I am not like the biggest expert in the world. Do you see his game collection? There's more games on that back shelf than I've played in my entire life. So let's just be honest here, okay?
Yeah.
No, likewise, dude. It's the best. That's why I love that's why I wanted to be on 2 weeks in a row.
And to be fair to this game, though, too, it is a brand new game with a brand new feature too. So it's, and I think somebody in the chat was saying that they want to get some data on how well the leg strap works through the feedback of the shootout part of it before like really implementing it in the major part of the game because you would bitch more if that was implemented but completely buggy as shit.
Okay, so why release Wii Sports at all without feedback on if Wii Sports works really well with motion controls?
It's just the one part of it.
But it's a motion control part of it. You should know. You have enough feedback from Ring Fit Adventure. Uses the exact same accessory in a bunch of mini games.
I don't know.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to give Nintendo. I'm not going to give Nintendo any excuses for not releasing complete games. Like, I'm sorry. It's been a very common theme this entire generation where Nintendo's not releasing complete games when we used to get complete games. It's the number one thing that bothers me about Switch's generation is they're putting out products before they're done. Not all the time. To be fair, not all the time. Like, I fully believe Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is probably done when it comes out. I don't think there's going to be, because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was done. Outside of, it needed some cleanup with optimization. Needed optimization cleanup. But the actual game was feature complete and done. Same thing was true for Definitive Edition, of course, which is just, porting a new game with add new content. Breath of the Wild, obviously. Although I'd argue Breath of the Wild even had an issue. They charged us for a harder difficulty that used to be free. Didn't like that one. I'm on record complaining about it. That's like my one complaint about Breath of the Wild is they charged us for Master Mode when that used to just be included. You had to buy the DLC to get it. I didn't like that. Like, if you think about it, like they're giving us the free update for Dread, right? Like that's something we'll probably get to later, where they're adding that they drop that Dread mode. That's free. Wasn't even expected. Wasn't promised. That's cool. And you might go, well, Nate, guess what? The Metroid Dread wasn't feature complete at launch. and that's a fair argument. You could hold me to that. But
So Nate, it wasn't feature complete at launch.
no, you can hold me, and you can hold me to that. You can hold me to that. But I'll say this: the game was complete. It just added difficulty modes. Doesn't really change the game. Like say dread mode. You die in one hit. Okay, so just play the game where you die in one hit. It's like playing 3 heart mode in Zelda. It doesn't actually exist. You can just do it though. So it's cool. Like, I don't know. It's easy to get me on these free updates because they keep happening, and I don't want the free updates to go away. I want them to keep being a thing. But also, I'm gonna always I grew up where you buy a game and the game's done. Now, yeah, it is nice when you buy a game and it's buggy. They can fix it now. That was obviously a problem too. Like release an unfinished broken game, Superman 64. It just stays broken, right? Like Superman 64 would never happen today because it would get patched and fixed. Of course, then again, we got Bottle and Wonderland, so maybe a game like that still would exist. So again, even then, no matter how many free updates they give, some games can't be fixed, I guess. But I don't know. It's just something that's really irked me, and I don't want to be a downer on this direct because Nintendo Switch Sports is something I'm actually looking forward to. Legitimately know I'm going to play a lot of. I'm going to play it on live stream. I'm going to play it with my friends, I'm going to play it with, Yulia, my kids. I know it's going to be a game that we're going to really, really, really enjoy. And I realize by me buying it, it also supports the idea that it's okay for them to add features later. It doesn't mean that I have to like it. It's one of those.
Well, see, my thing is like, I just don't understand the entire argument because when they're completely 100% transparent about it, if you don't want to buy it because it's not feature complete, guess what? You don't have to. And you can wait till it's feature complete, but you can never buy it ever. Or if you want to buy it at launch because you're like mad that you can't wait, but you wish all the features were there, you get them all for free. And they're telling you all of that. And that's like better than 99% of companies out there. And so like for me, I'm just like, that's awesome. If they were going to charge you for it later, I'd be like, oh, what the heck? That should be in the game. But it's not ready yet. And they're telling you that. So I don't know. I think it's all right.
And that's fine. I would say Nintendo is the least egregious of a lot of other companies out there that don't tell you anything. They don't communicate. Well, Nintendo needs to do better. Well, I'm getting to something later about they're adding the DLC to the expansion pass. I got a problem. Not a problem with them adding the DLC to the expansion pass, but a problem with some communication that they need to be more clear with. But we'll talk about that later. That the one Nintendo doesn't communicate well with their online stuff, and I'll get into that later as one of my it's weird because it's a positive thing that happened, but also, by the way, this can be done better, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, to not poo-poo on this game, I am looking forward to it. And I'm really glad they are transparent. Transparency is always best. I believe in transparency. I'm very transparent on my channel about everything. That's why, heck, how much money this channel made last year is literally posted publicly. Nothing's hidden. Everything's there. That's the way I am. But also, hey, I could still buy something knowing I'm going to enjoy it because of the nature of playing with my children and still just be like, but I really don't like that I have to wait for things. Because if I have to wait, it makes me go, then it shouldn't come out. Why don't you just wait till December when everything's ready and release it then?
You can wait. You can wait to buy it till then.
I can wait.
Choice.
I can wait.
Some people,
You're right.
Some people would want to buy it before then.
I know. I can wait. I'm not saying that I can't wait. I'm saying that the best time to play a game like this is always at launch. Online multiplayer, that's when it's most popular, is at launch.
It'll get revitalized again when they add new features. And that's a way to keep the life of the game going. It might actually
it will be revitalized, but also Breath of the Wild 2 comes out then, so I'm not going to care. just to be honest. Just to be honest, my November and December is probably going to be nothing but Breath of the Wild 2. Sorry, PlayStation
and that
Xbox.
Casual audience might not care about Breath of the Wild 2. You know what I mean?
And this is what I say. I don't have to care what the audience cares about. I care about what I care about.
Well, I think Nintendo cares about what everyone cares about.
That's fine. See, this. I love this. I love it. God, I love the banter. Go, you stand up for Nintendo and the fans. I'm going to stand up for my opinion. I don't like it.
No, it's fair. I get it.
But I like the game. I think the game looks fine. I think some of the animations look a little silly, but it's me. It is what it is. I don't really think the animations are that big a deal. It matters if it's fun. Thought it was funny when they were playing the volleyball game,
right?
Because it looked hilarious. I'm like waiting for them to like jump up in the air and start. And like, no, they're not even pretending that you have to try that hard to play the game. I thought it was really cool. Obviously, it comes out April 29th. It's going to be fun. It's probably going to perform really well. I think I said at the time, I think this game is going to end up selling potentially 10 million. I don't know. That might sound crazy, but go look at the sales of Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. Obviously, Wii Sports is a bit of a misnomer. It's packed in, but Wii Sports Resort sold really, really well. So I think this has the potential as a nice, fun, casual party family game coming out early spring. Coming right off the Pokemons and the Kirbys of the world. I think it's going to do really, really well. Ring Fit Adventure blew up, so I don't see any reason that this one won't. I think this has more appeal than Ring Fit Adventure does, because obviously that hits a subset of people trying to like work out but make their workouts fun. Well, this is going to be. Do you like sports? Hey, remember the Wii Sports? Hey, we got that here now. We have a new updated version.
Oh, I agree. 100%. I think this is going to really help the Switch a lot, and a lot of those casual gamers that they target with this, and they targeted with Wii Sports, aren't even going to probably, a lot of them probably won't even know that there's like another sport being added down the line. You know what I mean? Like for the really casual ones, like I'm not saying this is going to catch on like Wii Sports. Well, it's like being played in nursing homes and stuff like that. But I do think it is going to like definitely get a much more casual audience, especially like maybe a lot of people that just bought a Switch for Animal Crossing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they probably aren't even paying attention, a lot of them, to even realize that stuff would be missing. And then when it gets added, they'll just be like, "Oh, that's cool." You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they're not.
It's that kind of game.
I think the audience for this game isn't going to care about any of the stuff I was complaining about. Just to be clear, my complaints are my complaints alone. I think the actual audience this is for, they're gonna eat it up. They're not gonna care. They don't give two craps what Nintendo Prime thinks. So don't worry. Like my grandma, if she gets into it, she ain't gonna care. My kids ain't gonna give two craps. They're not gonna care at all. They're just gonna play and have fun and be begging me to play every day. That's right. Just.
I think that could be part of the target audience too, is people like you who grew up playing Wii Sports, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, this is the new version of kind of that game. Let's enjoy it with your kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair, it's playing with my kids that really is probably why I'll have it day one, because I know how much we're enjoying playing Wii. So to have like Wii bowling, they awesome. Like I think they're just really going to be into the game, and honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I kind of want to get it for my daughter. She needs to work out more. She needs to work out a lot more, according to her doctor. And she likes Ring Fit Adventure, but Ring Fit is actually working out. So she doesn't do it long enough. And I think if I can get her into something that is maybe less strenuous, but can be done for longer sessions. And I think that's what this game's going to help her out with. Just getting her active. It's just being active. She doesn't have to be crazy. So if I tell her, hey, when you're playing the volleyball, you do have to jump up to hit the ball. Like, hey, let's do that and have some fun and have dad look silly. I'd say I do a live stream with my kids, guys, but YouTube's kind of wonky with kids right now, so I'm not going to do that. But who knows? Maybe as on the wheel of death or doom during E3 this year, maybe one of it will be like Eric and Nate have to go 1-on-1, and you have to go all out, and the crowd will decide who went all out enough in the victory.
Oh God!
So Eric will be like, "Hey, but Eric, you know what the punishment is? Oh crap!"
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Eric, what was the game that excited you the most that you saw?
One that I had been hoping for a long while, but didn't know if it was actually going to come out.
What's that?
That would be Mario Strikers. Because
all right,
that game looks really freaking good, and I've wanted one since I know there was another one on the Wii, but I didn't like that one as much as the one on the GameCube.
It was closer to the beginning, Nate.
Yeah, so it's closer to the beginning, I think.
I'll find it. Don't worry about it. You keep talking about it.
Yeah, it looked good. And again, it's a Camelot game, so I'm gonna hype responsibly because they were.
I think based on what happened with Aces and Mario Golf, I think it's very fair to be
hype
responsible. Like they nailed the gameplay in my opinion, but then I don't think the single player in either game really stood out. And I think Mario Tennis Aces multiplayer is fine. But it's I don't know. It really feels like the problem is we grew up with the Game Boy versions that were full on RPGs, and that's what we want, for sure. And that's what we don't get.
And that's kind of what they teased too.
So especially with Mario Golf, especially. Yeah. But like we're rewatching it here. It looks fine. I did notice once they get to the gameplay part that the animations were a little bit just didn't remind me of. Looked a little bit worse than it did back on GameCube. That version of it specifically. But you know, that's just me probably being nitpicky. I'm not actually playing it. Like, it could feel great when you play it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I thought Mario Golf looked absolutely silly at times, and then when I played it, the gameplay's great. I like how it plays. So we'll see. What do you think they have to do with this game to make it worthwhile to you?
I don't know, just bring back the feel of the GameCube one.
Can you describe that feel to me?
No,
that you enjoyed. Like, you can explain the death wheel and all that stuff you liked about F-Zero.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
But what about that GameCube one? Was like, yeah, that's what I want back for this.
Man, I don't know.
Because you see, it's got some strategy stuff. Different gear you wear affects the different abilities.
That's kind of cool. I mean, that's new stuff. That's neat.
Like, Camelot's been great with gameplay.
I think some of the special kicks like this in the Wii version were just broken, because at least with some of these, a lot of times you actually get a semi chance to stop it with your goalkeeper, whereas in the Wii version there was some of them that I can't remember who it was, but had like a teleport. You could just teleport right behind the goalkeeper, right straight to the goal, and it's like you didn't even have a chance to stop it. It's like, that's stupid. Come on. So as long as you still have a chance to stop their specials.
Yeah, and that one we don't know for sure.
Right. It seems like, that would be back to being great. And I don't know, maybe it's just because the GameCube wasn't once the first one, and I don't know, I just liked it more.
That happens. It could be a nostalgia thing.
A little bit of that too, but I feel like things just played a little bit better on the GameCube, but I don't know how to explain it.
I think it looks fine. I think the club aspect has me the most excited. They have online clubs. You can have up to 20 people in. I misspoke. I said there'd be 19 spots. There's only going to be 18 because Eric's going to be in the club.
Right.
Maybe there's only going to be 17 because Jake's joining my club too. I have no idea. We're gonna try to be the top ranked club out there, at least around launch, and it'll probably fall off because I'm not gonna play the game forever.
No, we gotta get like matching jackets as well.
Yeah, there it is.
Team name.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. So I think that it would be really cool to play a lot of that game and just really get a feel for it, because I spent a lot of time with Tennis Aces, and I spent a lot of time with the golf Super Rush. So I'm hopeful, but again, I feel like Camelot's burned me enough times. The company that makes the sports games has burned me enough times to be okay. What's the catch? What's the catch?
Right, cautiously.
What's the catch? And I don't know what the catch is going to be yet. I felt like Aces had a catch. I felt like
someone in the chat saying it's not Camelot. Are we sure it's Camelot?
Who's making it then?
It's
by the way, guys, the direct happened a few hours ago, and in between I took care of my kids, and then I went straight to this. I've done zero.
I just assumed it was Camelot as well, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. The chat knows exactly what company's making it. Let me know, because I have not been able to do any research on anything that's been in the direct, because it's been a very tight schedule today. From direct to the podcast has been really tight. Is it Next Level? Is Next Level Games the one making it? If Next Level Games is making it, that gives me a little bit more, just based on their history, because they did Luigi's Mansion 3.
If Google will populate here.
It's not confirmed. Yeah, it just says Nintendo on the eShop. So we don't know which studio's making it yet. So it could be Camelot, could be Next Level. I assumed Camelot because they've made like all the sports games the last 10 years. So it'd be weird if it was somebody else. But they also haven't made a Strikers game in 13.
Did they make Strikers though? I thought they just did the golf and tennis games.
Who made Strikers? Let's see. Because there hasn't been a new Strikers game, I think they said, in 13 years. Where's the actual Wikipedia page on this stuff? Of course, everything popping up now is just going to be for the new game, Super Mario Strikers. Let's see here.
Next Level.
Next Level Games.
Next Level
Games did Mario Strikers, it says. So
Confirmed.
maybe they are doing this. Maybe Next Level is the one behind this. And if they're the one making it, great.
Yeah.
Like, if they're the one making it, cool.
I'm back to
and again, if they made that one and spent 13 years and they're making it again, and obviously they've run the Luigi's Mansion and all this stuff in between, made high quality games, there's a lot of reason to be hopeful then for it. So maybe my skepticism is wrong.
Then I'm not
because Next Level.
I'm not hyping responsibly anymore. If it's not Camelot,
well, you should always hype responsibly, anyways. to be clear,
no, for sure.
here's the problem. The game I'm most excited to see is one we already knew about, and it's Kirby.
Oh god, yeah, that one.
Look, no offense to all the new announcements. There were some great ones.
Splatoon.
Oh, and Splatoon looks great. But, dude, that new ability they showed off in Kirby,
right?
My lord. Okay, I did not see that coming. This Kirby stuff to me was awesome. Now, look, the game's already looked really good to me so far, especially after the second trailer. Already looked really good, and I was already sold to likely get it day one. But then they showed the new ability in here where you could basically suck up anything, and if you can't swallow it because it's too big, you just gain different abilities and different features. Like the car, obviously, and we just see a whole bunch of them. What a great idea!
Freaking amazing, right here.
Oh yeah, the little animation. It's just such a great idea, such a unique idea that really works with a Kirby game. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's nice about it is it feels like a natural evolution of what Kirby can already do. And that to me is what helps make it so brilliant, because you're always like, oh, it's another platforming game, but it's a Kirby one, and stuff like this makes it feel Kirby. Versus
and you can really tell, like, it's like got that Nintendo creativity where you can tell they like went like in a room with a ton of like people with really good imaginations and just tried to come up with the craziest stuff, and then like narrowed it down to the best of those ideas, and then put it into this game. Yeah, because like the biggest thing with the game like this is always like, what makes it different than Mario? What makes it? You're seeing it. Like this is the kind of stuff that only happens in Kirby. And
machine.
Yeah, the vending machine. So spit out pops at cans of people. The cone, use the cone, and somehow you're a spike. Sure, because that's how cones work.
And I mean, these are the people that make Smash Brothers, so they already are so used to putting tons of different moves and making characters work in different games. Like they already have so much experience with that, and I don't think people realize like this game keeps looking better and better. And I think it's going to really like exceed a lot of people's expectations when it comes out.
Yeah, I wonder what people's expectations are, like what the expectation is on the internet right now, because I said it at the time, this looks like the greatest Kirby game I've ever said, but what does that even mean? Right? Like where does Kirby, like when people think of the great games out there, they don't think Kirby. Like you can say, oh, greatest Kirby game, what's one? I don't know, probably Dreamland. Okay, but like where would would that even be in your top 10 on that platform? I'm like, well, no, probably not. So what does it mean when you say greatest Kirby? I say, fine, forget greatest Kirby game. I think this has the potential to hit my top 15, if not top 10 Switch games. It just looks that amazing to me. Like that's what we're talking about here is Switch has a bunch of amazing games, and this might be up there with the best of the best. Like look, this gameplay looks incredible. And guys, this is the first ever 3D Kirby. Like the variation of the moveset, the enemies, the world, the semi-open worldness of it that we've seen before with the different open zones. Like this just, and I assume that might be the big baddie. That's why they won't show us the face yet. It just looks like, look at this, some futuristic city. Like it's incredible to me what they're doing with this game. And we'll see if it turns, obviously, like I'm just saying what it feels like, guys. I don't know that it's going to actually be all that it's cracked up to be. It might not be a top 10 Switch game for me. I might end up disappointed. Sure. But right now, it looks like everything I've ever wanted a Kirby game to be. And the more they show of it, the more I didn't think I could get any more hype for it, and I am.
And I love the fact that
if they add a whole new world 6 months later, will you say it's an incomplete game at launch?
Probably. I'll probably still say that. Yeah. The question I will say is, even though incomplete games at launch do bother me, unless they're intentionally incomplete games that are meant to be multiplayer played over time. Like I give Splatoon a pass as it's trying to be a game that over time. Sure. It's like that. It's intended to try to make you play over time. Animal Crossing might be another game I give more of a pass to because it's intended to basically be played over years and years and years. Although certain features you could argue, but maybe should have been there at launch. I don't know. Again, didn't play New Leaf much. I actually did own it. I just didn't play it much. I think I played more of Happy Home Designer, which is, I know I'm weird. That's probably why I was so excited for the DLC, because I'm like, Happy Home Designer, yes. Like I played that one. But I think when I get into the conversation of feature complete, like say they add stuff to it later, like technically they added a Luigi mode, balloon finding game in Mario Odyssey. They added that for free later, which was a new feature to the game. So then was Mario Odyssey not complete at launch? Well, yeah, it wasn't. But there's two different conversations. Is it complete at launch, or is it complete enough to be worth the entry price? And I think a game like this, even if they added some content later, hopefully, again, I don't know till I play the damn thing. It has enough in it to be worth the price at launch. And as
how much is Nintendo Switch Sports price?
I actually don't know.
I saw in chat somebody said digital is 40 and physical 60.
Well, because it includes the leg strap.
Yeah, but are they really charging? Are they really trying to justify $20 for a piece of Velcro?
That's 10.
40 to 60. Didn't you say 60?
Yeah, 40 to 60.
Yeah, it's a $20 increase.
Oh, it's 60. I'm sorry. I thought it was 50.
Chat was saying 40 and 60.
Let me check. It's called Nintendo Switch Sports. Let me just see what it's going for on the website. Which, by the way, I mean, Nintendo can charge whatever they think they can charge. I already have the leg strap. It'd be cool if I could buy it without it. Like, if you have Ring Fit, do you really need to buy the leg strap again? But I guess if you want two people to play, I don't know. So yeah, and the official website. Obviously, I'm just going to confirm the price on that.
It's 60 at Best Buy.
Yeah, and I know all physical comes with a leg strap, and it is 40 for digital. It is 40 for digital. So, man, they really think the leg strap is worth $20? It's not. It'd be different if it was like came with an extra Joy-Con. It doesn't. Man, that's a pretty steep price for some cloth with Velcro.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, do you guys think I'm crazy? Like, I think $20 for that kind of accessory is that's a little steep to me. And it's hard to gauge because like Ring Fit Adventure comes with it, but it also comes with the ring. So like,
right.
That's why it's so expensive because of that ring.
But that
is plastic.
That's an extra $40. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's
are they justifying 20 for each accessory?
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it at the time because the ring is such a focus.
I guess it's precedented a little bit.
It's definitely interesting to think about, like, especially if you're someone who buys, like, if you're someone who's buying physical, but you don't really care about the strap, you're never going to use it. You still have to pay the tax for it. It's interesting. It's interesting. That's a very interesting pricing strategy. I'm not so sure if I agree with Nintendo on that strategy.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Like, there should be a physical version without it then for $40. Like, that is a little weird. That is a little weird. Is that the first time Nintendo's done that, where they've had two different launch prices for a game?
It wouldn't surprise me if they did it before or something. But
I can't remember on Switch, anyways, where they've had a brand new game coming out that's 40, but then also 60. By the way, the $40 price, I think that's a good. I think that's a good sweet spot for that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good sweet spot. You definitely aren't going to be like, oh yeah, this is like the same, level of game as Kirby. Like, no, it's not, because the Forgotten Land clearly looks like a game that's been in development a lot longer. But man, 60.
Well, they are pre-orders. Who knows? Maybe the physical price will actually adjust, and it won't be that.
Well, it could have a drop before launch, I suppose.
Yeah.
And plus, it'll be 50 at Walmart, as everyone's going to be like, you can get it for 50 at Walmart. I know, okay. Yeah, everything's $10 cheaper at launch at Walmart for Nintendo.
But I just looked it up, and it looks like it is literally the exact same leg strap that's with Ring Fit. So if you own Ring Fit, you already own the strap.
Yeah.
So that's it's a little weird.
So that's what I thought. It's like it's a very interesting approach. Nintendo and their pricing strategies. I think they're obviously playing around.
I think that
now.
strap comes with Just Dance also.
Does it? Oh boy,
maybe.
I don't know. Possible.
I have no idea. I haven't bought a Just Dance game in so long. I don't know.
Neither have I.
But yeah, is there? Okay, so we kind of went through the games that excited us the most. Is there any game that looked disappointing to any of us?
No, this was one of the best directs I've seen.
Care to explain why?
I don't know. They just came out strong, and it felt like it held through with the number of games, the quality of games, and some surprises to me.
Surprises.
Yeah, no.
Anyone here happy about the new Fire Emblem Warriors game?
I'm not gonna get it, but sure.
I actually beat the first one, but like. Those games are just kind of like, I don't know, they're all right to play. They're not like, your favorite ever. There can be comfort food sometimes. It's kind of how I feel about it.
I think that's a good way to describe the Warrior franchise in general. It's kind of like a comfort food.
Yeah.
Like Age of Calamity, I liked a lot, but I think a lot of it's because my bias for Zelda and wanting the story. Like you was always trying to get to that next cutscene, get to the next cutscene, get to the next, because I want to know what happens in the story. Which honestly, you don't need the game to do. You can just wait, someone will upload them all, and then you can just watch cutscenes anyways. But it's interesting because I didn't beat Fire Emblem Warriors. I did beat Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity. Fire Emblem Warriors, I was having a lot of fun with, and I got about halfway through, and I don't know. The gameplay is always going to be repetitive because that's just the way those games are. But the story didn't grip me. I thought the story was really weak.
With Warriors, what they did with like Age of Calamity and Persona 5 Strikers, those are like they've started to implement story on a level the Warriors games never have before, and it looks like this being very connected to Three Houses is going to be another one of those type of games.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. But like the reason I thought this Direct was so great is because not only did we got to see more stuff of Kirby that none of us like knew about, right? That just like blew our mind. We got to see stuff of games we already knew, like Splatoon 3. But there was a lot of stuff that was not leaked that we had no idea. And sure, not all of it was for everyone, but it was just so cool to see so many brand new things. That's kind of what you look for, is just like stuff that's completely not on your radar. And this Direct had a lot of that. That's why I thought it was so good.
I mean, No Man's Sky. I said this several times while I was live. Like, No Man's Sky. What just a nice get for the Switch. Like, yes, it had a lot of controversy at launch for massively overpromising and under-delivering and missing features. And again, non-feature complete game. But for us as Switch owners, that don't really matter. By the time we got the game, it's feature complete now. And it's actually a really good experience and really fun to play. So I think that is just such a good get. And really nobody was talking about that before the Direct. Like nobody was even mentioning the idea of No Man's Sky. And that was just such a good one. And then like the Disney Speedstorm game.
Right?
That one, I don't know if that game's already been announced somewhere. I didn't see it.
No, I don't think so.
Direct.
Yeah, no.
And it's free to play, which, okay.
That's awesome.
It's going to, I mean, put it this way. If they charge $60 for it, I probably wasn't going to try the game out. But as a free-to-play experience, when you're in the kart racing genre and you have the behemoth that is Mario Kart, the way you're going to get people in is to go free-to-play. We've seen a number of other kart games like the Nickelodeon kart. We've seen a kart-style game like with the Sonic racing game. But none of them have been able to quite catch on, and I think it's because, hey, look, you're on Switch. If you're going to compete in that genre, the best-selling game on Switch is 40-plus million Mario Kart. How about we don't try to do that, and let's actually give people a reason to be like, you know what, we're going to make a really good game and just give it to you. Now, yeah, there's going to probably be microtransactions and DLC and all this. Like we would know the season pass or something. There's going to be something like that because that's what free-to-play games do. Mm-hmm. But I think as long as it plays phenomenally well, I think there's just that base interest that you're a bunch of Disney characters, man.
Yeah.
You're Aladdin, you're Mulan. You know, like, have fun.
Disney's got a big pull.
You know, yeah, big pull. So it'll be interesting to see how well that game does. And again, gameplay is going to be king on that one. As I said, we'll probably check it out on launch day just because it's free. So why not? Why not at least give it a try and see if the gameplay can hold up? That one to me was one that surprised me. Again, I wasn't surprised by the Fire Emblem Warriors game because there was the rumor about the three of them and one being a spinoff. And I was like, okay, I think the spinoff's going to be a new Warriors game. I was like, oh, but that might not be it. It could be another crossover with something else. I'm like, it could be, but I'm pretty sure it's a Warriors game because we got two Zelda ones. So now we have this. And as you said before, it being called Three Hopes and being literally based in the world of Three Houses, I think just makes a lot of sense. Like, I think they're actually going to focus on story, and maybe it even helps transition to the next Fire Emblem game. We'll see. And then obviously, we got surprise of Mario Strikers. No one was really talking about that ahead of time, so that was really cool. But then as I just go down the list, there was just so much tossed in here that I thought was Force just Unleashed. Yes, Force Unleashed, obviously.
That's a good game.
Yeah, Force Unleashed is a good game. But like a lot of the games, obviously, like when I see people critical of the Direct, like, well, a lot of these games that they're talking about are just old PlayStation games or old this or old that. And it's like, well, yeah, because it's right in the Switch's wheelhouse. Why not? Is that a problem? I don't know. Like all your other like PlayStation 5, you can play a lot of these games. So why not on Switch? Like, I don't know what the problem. Like, is there a problem that it's coming to Switch? I don't know. Well, since when is classic games coming back a problem?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like I don't.
Yeah, no,
I've never like I can understand like, if you want to be critical of how they price them. That's totally fine. Like if you can go get X game and it's the exact same version on PlayStation for like $5 and it's $50 on Switch, which we have seen that happen. Yeah, that's a little, that sucks. Probably be critical of that. Maybe not buy it at the more expensive price unless you think it's worth it. I guess that's up to your individual wallet. But like even like Triangle Strategy, it was so nice to see it and not see it with some wonky side view text thing. Like the way they've been advertising the game, it looked good, but then like they had these weird angles they were giving you that were not indicative of actual gameplay. I don't know. Whoever made those trailers just thought it looked cool for some reason. They finally just said, screw it. We're just going to play the game and show you it. And looked phenomenal. And just in general, like up and down, the Cuphead DLC looks as great as it's always looked since they announced it. Still looks phenomenal. If you like Cuphead, this is the final part that's coming to the game. I think it's obviously going to be a must get for anyone who are big Cuphead fans. And then obviously, we have to take a moment here. Yeah, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, to be fair, was a semi-expected game. Plus, Monolith Soft literally told us last month they were announcing something this month. Really surprised Nintendo let them do that. Kind of gave away there was going to be a Direct in February, which there usually is anyway, so maybe that's why Nintendo didn't care. But yeah, so Xenoblade Chronicles 3 wasn't as big a surprise for people, although looks good. Looks good. We'll see. It's very story heavy because that's what Xenoblade Chronicle games are. They're very story heavy, so we'll see.
Yeah. As like a JRPG, like the amount I've played is just ridiculous. The thing I don't like about Xenoblade is the games are extremely long, and what's really great about them is the worlds are huge. There's a lot to explore. Sometimes they can feel a little empty, but the graphics are really good. But the battle system, it's like
not a fan.
It's almost less engaging than like regular turn-based. Like, you say you don't like Pokemon, like regular Pokemon, because it's just like turn-based. It's been the same thing. Xenoblade is almost even more basic because it's like turn-based, but you only choose your turn-based thing like once every 30 seconds, and then everything else is just autopilot. It does it all the battling for you. Like you don't even like do anything. So like that's the thing. Like I beat the first Xenoblade, and it was just like a massive game, and I like learned to enjoy it. And it lets you do more as you go on, but it's also like the world's big for the sake of being big sometimes, and there's just like it's one of those games with side quests where it's just like they have no purpose. They don't add anything, and it weighs on you because you're just like doing fetch quests like nonstop. That's kind of what it is. And then the second game was like even more auto battle-y than the first game. And X was a whole nother thing. And X I thought was a good direction, but I'm just like, that's my thing with Xenoblade. And like the story is compelling enough and it is like, it's good gameplay. It's just like, I guess I'm a little nitpicky with it. So that's why like when you ask me like what I'm most hyped for, and like I love JRPGs, that wasn't the first thing I said. But maybe they'll continue to tweak it, and maybe Xenoblade 3 will be the best one. That's obviously what I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of people that are looking at it as this is the conclusion of what Xenoblade 1 and 2 have been setting up. Like this is going to be the end. This is going to be what ends it up. And then, by the way, that doesn't mean it's the end of Xenoblade Chronicles. Obviously, we've had X, which is a totally separate thing on Wii U. So they're going to continue in probably just a different direction.
Well, they like what they do is they like relaunch with new trilogies. Like the first Xeno was Xenogears.
Yeah, Xenogears. Yeah.
And then they did Xenosaga 1, Xenosaga 2, Xenosaga 3, and then they switched to Xenoblade.
Yeah.
And then so like they'll probably do something like again something different. And I will say with Xenosaga, those games came out in the PS2. Xenosaga 3 was by far the best. So that I'm hoping for like a very similar thing.
I think there's a lot of good hope for 3, because even though 2 is a little rougher on the edges, when they brought out Definitive Edition and then added in the transitional new content in it, that transitional new content to me is the best content they've ever made. So that to me really sets up high hopes for 3. That it's like, okay, they get it, they got it, they perfected it. Now let's see a full game. And I feel like that really sets up hope for this. Again, we'll see. We didn't see a ton of actual gameplay in the reveal today, but didn't really expect to. It's just the reveal. It's coming later this year. We'll see a lot more of it. If you guys remember how they hyped on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, they showed us almost too much of the game heading into the launch. God. So probably going to do that again. So we're going to see a hell of a lot more of this game later this year, more than you probably even need to see. So we'll know everything we need to know on if this game's really stacking up. beforehand. One thing to mention that I want to bring up is the Mario Kart DLC.
That's nuts.
Two different conversations I want to have on, but first let's have the completely 100%, at least I feel like is probably a pretty positive conversation outside of the fact I think this is the end of Mario Kart 9 rumors, right? Like we're done. Mario Kart 9
You must
rumors
be really
over.
upset because Mario Kart 8's been an incomplete game at launch.
There it is. There it is. There it is. I will say this.
Yeah, buddy.
I will say this about bringing that up, Jake.
I'm just kidding, man.
Technically,
It's apples and oranges. It is.
yeah. Well, and technically, it was a Wii U game, and they had paid DLC, and it was all good. And I just feel this is more paid DLC.
I can't believe they tricked us all like that and said it was complete when they released it on the Switch.
Yeah, right. And then they screwed us over.
Product.
They screwed us over, right? You really wanted to play the game. You should have never bought it originally, waited for Switch, and then got the real DLC. What the hell was I paying for? It's at $20 back on Wii U. Look at the amount of content I'm getting now compared to then. Those cheap bastards, they screwed me over.
Right.
They literally have gotten now between this paid DLC at $25, the old DLC that I also paid for another $20, $45. Plus, I bought the game twice at $60 each. So that's $120 on top. They basically got my balls for like $190 to $200 with taxes included.
Yeah.
They screwed me on this game, man. It took me $200 to get a complete version. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the Hyrule Warriors situation when they had Hyrule Warriors, then they had exclusive content only in the Legends version, and then they decided, we're now going to take that exclusive content and actually put it in HD and combine it all and release it as a deluxe version on the Switch. So when it's all said and done, I spent $200 on that, and they had paid DLC. So this feature complete thing is going to bite me in the ass till the end of the time. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Every time Jay comes on, every game, he's going to be like, Nate, literally, there's no games that are feature complete.
Especially
You're screwed.
DLC.
You're screwed. There's DLC. You're screwed.
Yep.
But no, this is, I think this is really interesting because obviously we're clearly not going to get, this to me means no Mario Kart 9 this generation. Because this is 48 tracks being added. 12 cups, 48 tracks. Now, they're all classic tracks coming back. We'll play a little here of what they showed anyways. I know there was a little bit of people saying, why do those tracks look like phone games or whatever? Well, one, some of the tracks might have came from the phone game. So just to be clear, some of them might have actually come from Mario Kart Tour. So just to be fair, some of them probably did come from that. But besides that, it looks like Mario Kart to me. Mario Kart looks like Mario Kart. They are very simple visuals. They're Mario visuals. Okay, I don't really have too many complaints about that, but people are going to have their complaints. I think what I find interesting, also their classic courses coming back, right?
Mario Kart Tour.
Mario Kart Tour is in there. So yeah, some of them are going to be literally phone courses. But what's really cool to me is like this screen right here. Okay, we got the 6 waves, the 48 courses. They're going to release these waves all the way through 2023. They announced, and they're charging $25. This is this right here is basically an entire Mario Kart game. 48 courses is like an entire Mario Kart game.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. It's even bigger than some of the OG.
It honestly reminds me of like Super Smash Brothers, like when you buy the character pack. It's like that, except you're arguably getting even more content.
Oh yeah, because you're getting like 8 per wave, and you're only spending one price and getting all 6 waves. You can get all the characters, the fighter passes for one price, but there's multiple fighter passes, less characters per fighter pass compared to courses.
Right.
And they didn't announce any new characters being added, and maybe there won't be any new characters being added, or they'll surprise us and add new characters. I don't know about that. But they didn't promise any of that. They just promised courses.
That'd be interesting if they dropped a racer with each wave.
It would be interesting. I mean, again, they didn't talk about that here, but that could be something they decide to do. I don't know. I'm presuming they're just going to focus on the courses because they've been adding a crap load of courses. I don't know if anyone plays Mario Kart Tour on your phone, but they've been adding crap load of courses like all the time to that game. It's insane. It has so many courses. So they probably kind of figured at one point, why don't we do this on Switch? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So why are we just not making DLC? So they dropped this DLC, which is, I think, a phenomenal value. I think it's an amazing thing to do to the number one selling Switch game. Literally just keep it the number one selling Switch game for another couple of years at least. Tide us over until Mario Kart 9. I don't think that these courses are happening in lieu of Mario Kart 9 being developed. I think these courses are happening because they are not giving us Mario Kart 9 this generation at all. I think this is a sign look for Mario Kart 9 year one of their next gen system.
Does that mean next gen?
I agree with you, and I'm actually really excited that they're doing that because there's no doubt in my mind they've absolutely at least put thought in or started working on Mario Kart 9. And I think because of Mario Kart 8 sales, that's part of the reason why they decided to do this. But after all this time, there's no way they haven't made significant progress on it. And speaking of feature complete, I think what that means is next generation, when Mario Kart 9 finally does come, it's going to be so polished. There's already going to be years. It's not going to be this thing where they're trying so hard to get it out and they'll have to rush the launch. And you know what I mean? It's going to be good to go. And that's what you really need from a Mario Kart 9. So I'm actually really just excited for what all of this means, the connotations of all of this. But I don't know if that's just me or what you guys think.
No, I mean, it's a ton of content added to the current game, which is really great, which hasn't had new content since it came out on Switch. And obviously, hey, you know what? It's the most popular game here, and it's going to give them all the time they need. Yeah, it does set a high bar, by the way. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe already set a high bar for 9. 9 was already going to be really hard, and now they added 48 more courses to this, which just sets the bar even higher for the next game. Who knows how many courses it'll launch with? Who knows if they'll have planned DLC to add?
I hope that 9 is the one where they add a lot more characters.
Yeah.
And and I'm hoping for a story mode. That would be something that would really...
That would be beyond anything I expect out of Mario Kart. That would be really cool. So I think obviously some of the rumors out there that Mario Kart 9 is in development. Well, duh. I think that's pretty obvious. It's in development. They're not going to just not make a Mario Kart 9. They're just not making it for this gen. And that it could be a Nintendo Kart. Maybe it is. It very well could be. Or they could expand the Mario characters in it. I don't really know. That's up for Nintendo to decide. But I am super excited.
It'll be like a Nintendo Kart, but they'll still call it Mario Kart because that name just has so much value.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything negative about this booster course pass in terms of just what it is. 48 courses, $25, and bada bing, bada boom. Hey, Mario Kart 9 should be a more complete game when it comes out, ready to go for next gen, and it should be year one. I would fully expect Mario Kart 9 to be, if not a launch game, a year one game. Mario Kart 8.
I mean, I think the best play is get Mario Kart 8 is almost perfect. So if you can just perfect it, add a story mode, start have characters come out, call it Mario Kart Ultimate at launch of the next system, and it has the potential to sell more units than Mario Kart 8.
Yeah. I totally agree, especially if they nail that next system and don't lose their momentum. I think it's going to be a sight to behold. And I think what they've noticed in having Mario Kart 8 Deluxe near launch, not quite a launch game, but near launch, is that they really want a Mario Kart game year one. Period.
Yeah, and you just made such a good point. The Switch has done so well, but what happened after their last really good selling home console, the Wii? They messed up with the Wii U. So I think that it's going to be really important to have the next system get off to a good start, and having a game like the next Mario Kart at launch is just such good insurance.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just going to help them. So it's going to help everyone, so I think it's a really, really smart move by Nintendo. I like it.
So what do you think, Eric?
Yeah. I mean, I still don't own it.
But will this make you own it? 48 new courses.
I mean, that is insane. But I did not see it coming, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see this coming. This caught me out of left field.
Yeah, no, I've thought about it.
It's Mario Kart, baby.
Yeah, I know.
It's Mario Kart. Well, it was always one of those, just wait for 9. 9's coming. Yeah. 9's coming. It's not. We're about to enter year 6. It's not. So.
I mean, then if
not
we think that then this means that 9's coming on the next gen, does that mean next gen's 2024 then? Because with this,
that is kind of interesting that it cuts off 2023.
End of 2023.
They didn't stretch it out longer.
So does that mean then?
Oh, you're getting to the wild speculation that next gen launches 2024. 2024 confirmed. 2024 confirmed. Right. So this is the second part here that I want to talk about. They threw it into the expansion pack, which, by the way, great. This is in no way a negative to add this in. This is the second paid DLC they have announced since launching the expansion pack. The first was Animal Crossing, now this, and they're both in here.
And it's the exact same thing too. If you realize that the Animal Crossing DLC was $24.99.
Yes.
The difference of the price of the expansion pack is an extra $24.99.
Yeah.
And then this DLC is $24.99, and they're also adding that. So it's like basically a $50 value. They're making it so like, and it's their number one game on the Switch, their number one attach rate.
Yeah.
So this, I feel like, is just going to up the expansion pack subscribers a lot. I'm not sure. I know what you're going to say. You're going to give it some criticism, but from a business perspective, it's very smart by Nintendo. Not saying it's best for consumers, but for them to get more expansion pack members, like it's pretty smart. It's probably going to do that for them.
For consumers, I think this is actually a really good thing. I actually have a bone to pick with the business side.
Really? Okay.
So
I wasn't expecting that.
So I think, and again, we could be wrong on this, and I think we'll find out the next time they announce paid DLC. Do they also throw it in the expansion pack? And if they do it for the next game they announce paid DLC for, like say it's Splatoon 3, right? Because there's probably going to be paid DLC for it because there was for the other two. Okay, so let's say the Splatoon DLC, they throw that in there. Let's say the Breath of the Wild 2 DLC. Yeah, like the Breath of the Wild 2 DLC that's inevitably going to exist because there was for the first game. Okay, they throw that in there. And
we
start
to see Pokemon DLC in there. It's like it's over.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The Pokemon one's probably the next. We probably get Legends Arceus DLC announced by the Pokemon Company at some point in the next month. So like, and that gets tossed in there. Okay, so what you're telling me is the expansion pass, you get the N64, the Genesis, and you get all the paid DLCs for Nintendo Switch exclusive games. That's incredible. There's nothing negative about that. But where's the communication? We didn't know that we were getting more DLC added to the expansion pass. See, like this is where we get into the okay. Well, you didn't know.
Oh, you think they need to market that a lot?
Yeah,
better.
like you didn't know you were getting free updates, but who cares the free updates? This isn't free. This is something people pay money for. And if you just came outright and said, "Hey, we're going to be adding all or most of our future paid DLC to this expansion pass," not only is that really, really transparent with consumers. Because right now, there's a lack of transparency. Are we getting more now? Is there more being added? Is this value going to keep getting better?
We never know with Switch Online what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Like a box of chocolates.
And if they are planning to do that and they're not telling anybody, I think they're missing out on money. Free money. Yeah. That's the business side. If your plan is to actually do this, but you're just not telling anybody, I guarantee you, if they said all future paid DLC with the slate of games they have coming out, including now this Mario Kart 8 DLC, I think that's a free. You're going to get 10, 20 million new subscribers tomorrow. If you just
they really need to set some expectations of what you can expect from future value. I agree with you.
Yeah, and they don't do that, and that's
right.
That's the problem with their entire Nintendo Switch Online is they're very.
A couple months ago, when everyone was just like crapping on the expansion pack, if they would have been like, "Oh, by the way, you know, like you're going to get 48." I understand they couldn't have revealed that at that point, but they would have said, like, major DLC. Games are going to get DLC and you're going to get it for free.
Like, that is such a big... lot. Yeah. They would have had me back then. I would have never complained.
In a lot of people's mouth.
Yeah, I would have never complained.
Right.
There would have not been one complaint out of me about that. $50, but you get all future DLC on Switch for exclusive games. That's incredible. I'll pay that to the end. Yeah, okay, you lose access at the end of Switch to that DLC, you know, when you stop paying for it. Well, that's fine. At that point, I'll decide if I want to buy it individually anyways to keep it or not. Or I'll decide I'm done with the game and I don't need the DLC. Like, that's fine. That's part of a service. Like, that's how it goes. You lose access when you stop paying. I'm cool with that. But then it becomes a value. Like, think about this, you know. By the end of year 2, you will have gotten $50 in value out of 2 DLC packs. And if they add more, that ends up adding up to that $50 more and more and more. Like, it's just, to me, if that is the future plan, which we don't know.
It more than pays for itself, because just to play online, you need to pay $20.
Yes.
So even if you're doing a solo membership, you're only paying $30 additional dollars. So the $50 you would be making money as long as you wanted that $20 initially just to be able to play online.
I just want them to communicate better. It's been my biggest thing with Nintendo Switch Online. Like, okay, cool, we just got the Earthbound games dropped. That's nice. Are we getting anything else to the base online, or is that the end of it? If it is the end of it, can you tell us that's the end? No, you don't want to tell us it's the end, because you might change your mind and decide to add a game 2 years from now.
Exactly.
Like, oh no, we know future N64 and Genesis games are coming, but we don't really know when. Yeah, okay, we're getting Majora's Mask next. That's really cool, but okay, you're going to trickle out one. You're going to trickle out one new game that we're going to get next month.
The thing is, like, no company tells you in advance, right? Like, we don't know what the PS Plus games are going to be until the month. We don't know
Yeah,
what the games
but
with
we
gold
do
are going to
know-
be till the month.
We do know that they're going to announce them, and we know when they're going to announce them every month.
That's my point, is that we know that X number of games are coming each month. And
Yes,
even if
correct.
Nintendo, that's what we need from Nintendo.
Yeah, like I don't
even
even know
even if
what
it's gonna
DLC is going to be in
inconsistent,
here.
be like,
You
you're
know.
going to get this many in 2022. At
Yeah.
least this many. You know, maybe you won't get them every month, but you'll get
Yeah.
12 games at some point throughout the year.
Yeah.
You know you're paying for it, and you're getting that value, at least.
Yes,
I agree with you 100%. They need
They did that at
something
the
like that. Or
beginning.
you're going to get, if with the expansion pack,
sort of. They
there
never
will be
promised we were
popular
getting monthly
games.
games.
There will be 3 games that you're going to get the DLC for free with the expansion pack.
Yeah.
Like, just like put it out there so you
Yeah,
don't
just
you
say
feel
it.
better about your purchase.
You don't have to reveal anything that you're going to release. Just say you're going to, hey, look, you pay in this first year for Nintendo Switch Online, we're going to deliver 20 more N64 games. In year 2, we don't know yet, but we're planning to release at least 10 more on top of that. Genesis-wise, whatever they can say for that, don't have to tell us what the games are. Just promise and give it to us on the schedule that you have already. And then, like the expansion pack, hey, do you plan to add future DLC? Awesome. You don't have to tell us what it's for, what games it is. Just say, hey, guess what? You know, we are planning for the lifetime of the Switch platform to add all future exclusive Switch game DLC to this expansion pass as it comes out until you know we move on to whatever. They don't even have to mention next day. They can just say
Here's the thing is, like, I think the next step, I think Nintendo is going to do this at some point, is they're going to give you games that have plateaued in sales. They've already started doing 1-week trials of them. I think some of those games, like Captain Toad Treasure Track or whatever, they're going to be like, we're not selling any more units. We're going to throw that on expansion pack. I think they're going to do that at some point.
They could.
And people are going to be like, wow, that's incredible value. But, like, let us know. Hey, like, you know, there's a potential we're going to put some actual full games on there this year. People would be hype.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll do that at
honestly,
some
it felt
point?
like value went
Put
down.
a full game on there?
What?
Do you think that they'll add...
They'll put a full of.
Yeah.
I am not going to go quite that far yet. I think they'll release
Would
a
it shock you if they
$20
did?
classics line first.
Would it shock you if they did, though?
Considering the fact that Nintendo doesn't really ever drop prices of its game, because they could just drop the price of its game if they want to sell more. I mean, considering they don't do that, it'd be kind of shocking to see. them
I
throw it
think
on
it'll
online
be.
for-
I
for
think
quote,
that
unquote
would be
free.
something.
That's a good point, Eric.
I will say this: if I don't think they're going to do it this generation, but I do think if the next platform is basically like a Switch 2 and fully backwards compatible, and so all of this is forwards compatible, so we're not
Well, that's what they
starting
said at
over.
their
again.
investors thing, right? That the next one.
Yeah,
is gonna be
yeah.
backwards.
They're working
Yeah.
out how to transition and not lose the 98 mil. Like they're trying to make. It sounds like they're trying to transition. They're trying to make a smooth transition. They don't want people to feel like they're starting over again, because that's hurt them in the past doing that, and they don't want to do that. So they're trying to figure out how not to have that happen. And if
Yeah,
they
and
do,
every
and they
other
get it right,
company has been 100% backwards compatible with last gen.
yes,
So PS5
So-
with PS4, Series X with Xbox One.
yep.
That backwards has been 100%. So I
So
really
if
think
we
Nintendo
consider-
has to do that.
That Nintendo's going to make it backwards compatible. And by the way, Nintendo's done this before. 3DS is fully backwards compatible with DS. So Nintendo's even been there with their
Right.
handhelds, anyways, and they're using cartridges again. No reason for them to not be backwards compatible. I will say this: if it's fully backwards compatible and works natively right there, you don't have to boot into a separate menu like with Wii U, where you had to go into like a Wii menu. It's just natively supported in the base of the system. Then yes, I think for the next gen they could say like, okay, there's no point in re-releasing Treasure Tracker. It's probably not going to sell anymore. But hey, now that we're onto this new system, let's just throw it in here as a value. Like, here's a value grab just to get more people to subscribe, make them feel better about getting into this, because this old DLC for old games, maybe they don't care about anymore, but you get a free game that you maybe never bought in the first place. Cool. Let's throw that in there. I could see that where they
Now,
have
as I'm
these
thinking-
lower value
I'm thinking
games that aren't
maybe
worth re-releasing.
that would be too big now that you're talking more, because, you know, you guys are right. Like, look at Wii U ports. They still charge a full 60 for that. Why would that's maybe my eyes got a little too big on that one.
I like the idea.
No, I love the
Sure.
idea. That's
Yeah.
why I said I think it would make a lot of sense for the next console cycle with the backwards compatibility for games that don't make sense to re-release or put in 4K. Because like, what's the point of putting Treasure Tracker in 4K if people aren't really going to buy it anyways? Let's just give it to you.
Right.
Let's just give you the current version for free and make it a value add. I don't think it matters right now. I think they're more apt to do like a classics line like they've done before, where they do a $20 budget line of some of their games. And even then, the games that you would consider for that, oh, they throw Breath of the Wild in there. Would they? The game that's still selling $3 million a year at $60, would they?
Okay, so let me ask you this. I'm very curious if Nintendo did something, if you guys would be a fan of it or not, because this is something that like Sony does, for example. If you're a PS Plus subscriber, so there's certain games where you get exclusive discounts. Only the PS Plus like members will get like 30% off on a certain game.
Yep.
Or 20% off on a pre-order. If Nintendo had discounts for certain games, but only for expansion pack, do you think they would get hate for that, or people would like it? I'm very curious.
Discount only for expansion packs?
Only for expansion pass members.
Oh, expansion pass members. So it's a $50. Okay.
Right. So if you're paying for that, you can get 20% off.
I don't think there's a problem with that. I mean, that's nothing but a positive. It doesn't hurt anyone. I mean, some people might feel jaded, but it's like, yeah, but it's kind of like paying for, I don't know, like the $200 tech membership out at Best Buy. Like you get special pricing on some items. Like, I know it's ridiculous how that they were putting consoles behind it, but the bottom line is, when I was there, we were there, but we just bought a bunch of stuff for the set. Like they had, here's normal pricing, but if you're a total tech member, you could save like $20 here, $30 here.
Outside of the console thing, like if you're using it for the right things, the Total Tech Best Buy membership is actually a good value.
It's actually not that bad. I didn't realize like,
especially if you buy like a lot of Apple products.
Yeah. You save a lot of money on Apple. I noticed you can save a lot of money on Apple products there, and guys, it includes free installs. So if you're one of those people that don't want to install crap yourself, like that could be a really nice value. Because like we installed the new thing for our set. Not going to talk about what it is yet. And it took us a while. What was it, like a 2-hour venture, 2.5-hour venture to get that installed?
Yeah.
And that's something that would just be included. I wouldn't, you wouldn't have to do it. So like, I don't know that the Total Tech membership on the whole is actually a bad deal if you're someone who shops at Best Buy a lot and buys a lot of tech. I think it makes a lot of sense. Fun
fact about that might help someone out here. If you have an American Express card, that gives you a Total Tech membership for free.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is. See, look at this. This is the man who knows because he's always out there for the deals.
I'm always trying to get the deals. You're right.
Always trying to get the deals. So yeah, I do think that some sort of discount program is totally fine. And I think Nintendo's experimented with that a little bit in the past. They just never fully committed to it. I was always like temporary discount here, temporary discount there. Oh, if you are a member, we'll give you a double gold bonus if you buy digital because the gold coins can be turned into digital currency.
That's like the worst program ever. All my stuff.
It's not good. It's not okay. I'd rather they do that than not do it at all. But also, like, there's so much better ways to do this. Give me 5% off or something. Like I don't know, like anything. It's just I definitely would be supportive of that. And obviously, this is getting forward thinking where other companies just do it better. And Nintendo, we're talking about online.
Just give me Nintendo Pass.
Just give me. I mean, we're talking about a company that doesn't give us any way to communicate with people. You can't message them, and you can't chat with them. You can use the app, but only when you're in the game, already in the game lobby. You can't create a lobby outside of the game to talk to your friends, and you can't send messages to them. The best way to communicate with someone, if you only can communicate them with Switch, is tell them to download Fortnite, so then you can message them over Fortnite.
Right.
There you go.
Like, come on, Nintendo.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a company that just can't seem to lock down the basics, and yet they're arguably the market leader at the moment. They clearly are massively able to sell millions and millions, tens of millions of games in a way that no other platform holder has been able to pull off. And it's crazy. Like Sony's games sell incredibly well. They don't have a 40+ million seller. It just doesn't happen. It's like unheard of. It's unheard of for Nintendo, to be clear.
What's GTA 5 sales on
GTA 5 sales are huge. But that's also cross-platform. The multi-platform games I kind of said.
Well, I know, but what is it just on Sony platform?
Just on Sony, I think.
I'm sure it's over 40 million.
I'm trying to think. I know there's over 80 million sold. GTA 5 PS4 sales. Let's see here. Let me see. This was as of 20 million as of 2020.
Oh, okay. Then it's probably not even close.
So yeah, it's probably not at 40 plus. Could be at 25, 30, who knows? Especially with PlayStation 5.
Not 40 though.
Yeah, not 40. So, but again, like that is also I would say you could say, well, then Minecraft. Well, yeah, Minecraft probably is. But I'm talking more so of the exclusive single platform variety. because I think there's something about some certain multi-platform games like Fortnite or a Call of Duty or a Grand Theft Auto or a Minecraft where there's a certain transferability. Like if you own an Xbox and decide to go play PlayStation, you already like that game, so you're just going to buy it there. Like it's kind of your fandom transfers no matter where you play, basically. And a lot of these games, I know, like in Minecraft as an example, you can like log into your same account on anything, and not really lose anything. So I kind of give a pass for those games because that they're kind of built in a different way. Whereas like exclusives, and this, by the way, I'm not knocking Sony. They have games selling, God of War and Horizon, so 10 million plus. Like they're selling phenomenally well. Nothing wrong with those sales.
Right. No, I agree.
But then you have Nintendo games that just seem to be doubling that, and it's insane. Like Nintendo's insane. I don't know how they're doing it. They're so backwards on online, and they're doing that. And it's interesting too. And I think this gets into a broader conversation comparing different business strategies because I think Sony recently said they want 10 live service games launched by 2026. I think something like that was something Sony put out there. And now that doesn't mean that's all the games they're making, guys. They're obviously making more than just live service games. But it was kind of interesting thinking about the commitment to that strategy. Whereas Nintendo is like, we're just going to keep making what we make because it works. Why would we stop? Because Nintendo's strategy is a lot more traditional, although they're getting into some of the we'll release free updates here. We'll not release finished games, but it's fine, whatever. So they are getting into some of that, but they're still being like, but we are going to just sell you a game and that's it. We're not going to make it like expansion. Like you can have expansions, but we're not going to be like, buy a season pass, buy this. They could have DLC'd and microtransaction the hell out of Mario Odyssey with those costumes, and they didn't. They just let it be. No, that's just part of the game. You could just change the look of your character. We don't care. And Nintendo has been very traditional in that sense. Even though that's not really traditional today, it's more old school traditional, and it just works for them. Whereas I wonder if Sony, even like Horizon Forbidden West, let's say, I think it'll probably top 10 million someday. I don't know if it'll top 10 right away because obviously PlayStation 5 is not like, but it is also on PlayStation 4, so maybe it will top 10 right away. I gotta remember it is a cross-gen game. So it'll sell phenomenally well. But then, like, the money today isn't worth the same as it was worth back when the original Horizon came out due to inflation. So I think there's a lot of everyone wants a piece of that live service pie, that never-ending revenue just keeps coming and coming. They want that Fortnite money. They have that money that made Epic into billions and billions of dollars every year. It's kind of like, to be fair, Nintendo has that money coming in different avenues. What was it? Fire Emblem Heroes? Since it launched in, I think, 2018.
Oh, yeah. Mobile games are kind of different, but yeah.
Since it launched in 2018, Nintendo's made almost $1 billion off that game.
Mm.
Like, that's a lot of money.
Mobile game. Like
Pokemon, I don't even want to know the numbers Pokemon Go has done. Even though it's split between 3 companies, between Niantic, Pokemon Company, and Nintendo, Pokemon Go has made insane money off its microtransaction. It's absolutely insane. And billions and billions, like many, tens of billions of dollars. It's insane. So, like, yeah, I know that's mobile games, but that's kind of like what the service games are. The service games are basically sort of built like mobile games that are intended to get you to spend little bits of money here and there.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So
whenever I see, like when I saw the Disney Kart game,
yeah, that's what that game's.
Whenever I see a free to play game, I cringe because if you get into a free to play game, if you actually like it and you play it, you will spend more money on that game, or at least I shouldn't say that. Yeah. As a generalization, but they're designed to. But yeah. For most people, and I'm included in this, you will spend more money on that game than you would paying $60 for a $60 game.
Easily.
And that's so when I see a free to play game, I'm like, well, like if I don't like it, then yeah, I'll like download it for free and get to mess around with it. But if I ended up liking it, I probably will. I've probably spent like $500 on Fortnite last.
That wouldn't be surprising.
Like, honestly, and like, I never even played
it's
Fortnite
really easy
before last year.
You don't think about it. You don't think about it. You get your paycheck, you buy some V-Bucks, $20 here. Okay, no big deal. Except you realize by the end of the month you spent $100 on V-Bucks, and you're like, oh, what?
Because when you're an adult and you're making a solid income, $20 on V-Bucks here and there, but then you're like, okay, I've spent $20 on V-Bucks every other week for a year. Like that's 25 weeks. That's, you know what I mean? Like it adds up. $500.
And that's how they get you. And like I know I said it was kind of a positive. It was free to play, but it was more of a, hey, look at the market you're competing in. you got to find a way to get in. You got to find a way to get in.
See,
but,
the
unfortunate truth is that
when
way
Mario
of getting
Kart
in.
8 exists on a platform, you got to do something like that, like free to play.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, if you look at like Nickelodeon Kart,
That's what's going to suck. Because if it's really good, I know I'm going to spend money on
the chocobo
that
racing thing. I think the way to get into it would be do something different than Mario Kart. Instead of trying to copy it, add a story mode like Diddy Kong Racing did back in the day.
There you go. What you wanted them to do with 9. Like, hey, how about you do that?
Exactly.
Fine. But then you offer this thing they've never done. And you do it really well. That's exactly.
No, sure.
But, companies aren't looking to do that. They want to be like, hey, Nintendo's just releasing this multiplayer party kart game. Why can't we just do it? Well, Nintendo's got a cachet and a reputation they've built up over a hell of a long time with an established IP. It's kind of like it's kind of like I just want to make a Call. It's kind of like trying to build a Call of Duty game, but call it something else. Oh, this is a Call of Duty game, clone game that's called something else and expect it to be as popular. Like that's not going to work. You got to do something they don't do. Battlefield tries to do that, and it has varying degrees of success game to game because they try to do some things different than Call of Duty.
One game that I'm kind of surprised hasn't been attempted to be knocked off is Mario Party.
You don't think that game's been attempted to be knocked off?
I don't know. I haven't really seen a whole lot of attempts.
Crash Bash.
Yeah, there it is. I was waiting for the Crash one to come up, but you don't see them because a lot of them aren't very good. A lot of them are just not very good.
Harvest Moon did a Mario Party clone a couple years ago. I actually live streamed it. It was awful.
Yeah, that's why you don't hear about them. They exist.
Fair enough.
The cheap cash grab board game Mario parties, they're out there. Dozens.
But you know what? Eric has a point. There isn't like any high quality one.
Yeah.
Like big IPs incorporated.
Like even when we think of Mario Kart, like I could think of, we did have Sonic Team Racing. That it wasn't a bad game. It was solid. We did have the Nickelodeon Kart. Not a bad game. It was solid. You think of things like, what about Smash Bros? What's the alternative? Brawlhalla is not that bad.
I think part of it is because the best part about Mario Party games is the unique ways in which Nintendo controllers can react and respond and do different things for different mini games. And for Nintendo's own like hardware, like their Joy-Cons and whatever system it is, the Wii, they're the best at like implementing that. And for a third-party company to like try to come in and do that, they're trying to release something on all consoles. They can't do that. Like if they want to have it as creative as Mario Party, they could only release it on the Switch. And I think that's part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So to recap the Direct, on a scale of like 1 to 100, let's go. No, 1 to 100. We'll keep it. I was gonna go crazy and go 1 to 1,000, but we'll keep it at 1 to 100. We don't need to get like that fine tuned.
Everything by 10.
Yeah, I know.
We're good.
I know. But where would you guys like rank this in your head? Like we're not. Yeah, just rank it in your head. Compared to anything. It can be state of plays compared to Nintendo Direct. Doesn't really matter. Whatever comparison you want. Like you just think of the Direct today and go, man, if I got to review this Direct, this is what I would give it. Where would you set it out there?
Or 88.
88 for you? Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking the 85, 89, or 85 to 90 range.
85 then. So basically the same.
Yeah.
The only thing I feel like this Direct was missing was a premier, like top tier franchise. Xenoblade 3 is great. Like Mars, there's so many like stuff that was like, but there's no Mario Odyssey, no Breath of the Wild 2. You know what I mean? That very top, very tippy top tier Nintendo IP.
Sure.
Like that's the only thing I feel like the Direct would have been like a perfect Direct for me.
I am going to give it a 90. It's not perfect. I don't know that a perfect Direct can exist because it would mean that it's literally perfectly tailored for my individual taste in every single aspect, and that's just
our straight up Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, I mean, straight up Breath of the Wild 2. Then you give me Breath of the Wild 2 Direct, I might give it 100 out of 100. But that's a little again bias. I do see Jake's point. It was like there wasn't that big premiere, although you can argue Splatoon.
It was still so good, even though there wasn't. Like it's a nitpick.
But I think this is a strategic Direct, and this is where I would probably agree with the 80, or I'd probably even give it lower. I'd say at 80, but then I thought for a moment, and I go, you know what? No, I'm not going to give this an 80 because it doesn't have that big premier franchise. Because although I could argue against Splatoon at this,
I was an 88, so we were literally 2
yeah. I know. I was gonna. I'm saying what I was gonna do. I was gonna give it an 80.
Oh, okay.
But then I said, you know what? No, it's a 90. I know what Nintendo's doing. They're not going to show off a Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild 2 because no one's going to care about what else the hell happened in this thing, and those games aren't coming out for a while. Breath of the Wild 2, based on everything they show with the dates and the way things line up, it's their holiday game. They show that now.
Of course.
That's overshadowing Kirby. That's overshadowing Splatoon.
Well, and the other thing
overshadow, and it's not coming out for 9 months.
Announced the Direct. It said this Direct will focus only on first half 2022 games, and it went up to September was the latest, but that's their first half of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Starts in March. So September is 6 months.
Yep.
So it focused on first half 2020, their fiscal year of 2022, and that's exactly what they gave us.
Yep. And you could go, well, that doesn't mean they can't have a big game come up. They do. Splatoon 3 is dropping. Splatoon 3 is a 15 million plus seller. That's the premier game. It's dropping this summer. They literally said it's coming this summer. So when you know you have that for the summer, you know you kicked off with Pokemon. Now you're going to be dropping Kirby. Yeah, you have all these other really solid games between the Strikers and all the rest coming in between the sport, Nintendo Switch Sports, etc. You already know your big game to kick off the year was, it's Pokemon. Okay, your summer game is Splatoon 3. Okay. You have a really hardcore franchise coming in between this and Breath of the Wild in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. There's your hardcore, niche, doesn't sell a ton of copies, but the super loyal fan base. Got that game. You got your casual games. You've got your really solid games in between, and you're capping with Breath of the Wild and maybe something Pokemon. We'll see. The Pokemon Company does their own thing. So I look at this as, look, one, this confirms Breath of the Wild's holiday, and two, I'm not left wanting that big game because all they did was confirm the big game I want is coming holiday. Now I expect to see it in June. I don't see it at June, then it's next year.
Right.
And that would be disappointing. I honestly think that they show plenty here. I can't think of anything I would change about this Direct for the timing that's coming out. And a lot of this is based on, guess what? The initial sparks of hope either. Yeah. That's clearly going to be holiday Nate, or delayed. Or
I just got to hit the head. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it.
No, you're fine. So the way I view all of this is I think that it's essentially perfect for what it needed to be. Mm-hmm. It needed to be something that advertised current games, hyped us with some new announcements, didn't do anything crazy because it would have overshadowed everything else going on.
Yeah.
The only thing I could argue is last year they announced Splatoon 3 for the next year. They could have technically teased the 2023 game, and I don't think it would have overshadowed anything because it's so far off. Whereas if they had ended with or if they showed up Breath of the Wild 2 at any point in this thing, what are we talking about today?
Yeah.
What are we talking about this whole podcast? Probably spent half of it talking about Zelda. Instead, what are we talking about? Nintendo Switch Sports, Mario Strikers. Talked about Chrono Cross for a brief bit. Talked about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. Briefly talked about Fire Emblem Warriors. We talked about all these games that, honestly, maybe Kirby gets talked about.
Never even
and
really
then
touched
Zelda
on the show.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's pretty cool, though.
And I felt the pacing was great. I thought they, really did a good job just kind of going back to back, game to game to game. Even when they did their sizzle reels, I thought they did really well with the sizzle reels and showing and explaining each game in between. They didn't just flash it on screen for half a second and run away like they've done in the past. They actually gave you a decent look at each thing, so you knew what you were seeing. Each one was
at least 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, you actually knew what you were seeing, and that was really important to me because sometimes they really flash through it, and then you got to go back and figure out what the hell you just saw.
No, for sure, I agree on that.
So I thought the pacing was great. Honestly, so Nate, why don't you give it a perfect score? Well, because there was a personal bias in there where I would have liked to see, would it have hurt to see Bayonetta 3? I don't think that would have overshadowed anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of game that, say that's an October game. They could have showed that now. It was missing that one extra game to me that maybe isn't an overshadow game, but could definitely use more advertising. I think Bayonetta 3, even if that's an October game, I feel like they could have flashed that in and been fine. Or tease something for 2023. I think not showing Breath of the Wild, it was totally fine. I won't even worry about it. I know some people worry about that game's going to get delayed, which, by the way, Zelda games, traditionally, the first time you see a year, it's always delayed. So that's
right.
But I don't think there's any reason to worry. The financials just had it again for 2022. Nintendo hasn't budged off 2022. They're just not going to. Once we hit the next Direct, don't be surprised if there's a 10-minute Breath of the Wild 2 blowout. It's just
right.
E3 2016 all over again. Like it just which sucks that it's not in person because I'd be able to play a demo of this game.
Yeah, right. Well, who says they don't release a demo for E3?
They ain't releasing no demo
For E3?
They ain't releasing no demo. There will be a private media only demo, which I'm going to be begging my MCN to get me into.
Right.
Screenwave Media. I know you watch every episode of my podcast.
Heck yeah.
If Nintendo has a media event to play Breath of the Wild too early and you don't get me into it, I don't know. I'm not going to fire you. You guys are really awesome, actually. But still, seriously, they're like the best MCN I've ever worked with in my life. They actually care about the channel. It's cool. But man, I would love to be in that event. I would love to play it because there's going to be a media event for it where they get to play it early. So, anyways,
another weird thing that I don't know. I just kind of felt. I don't know. It could be that this has happened in the past too, but it felt like today there was a lot of. They showed a game and all of a sudden it was pre-order today. It's like holy crap! And then this game was pre-ordered today.
They were pushing pre-orders pretty hard today.
Pre-order today.
They were pushing pre-orders hard today.
What? And I don't
Which
know
reminds me, I gotta see how many of these games are up at Best Buy because since I have that partnership for that 14% kickback, I really should see.
Yeah, it just
I don't.
It kind of surprised me. It felt like there was a lot of games that were you could start pre-ordering today, and it was just like I don't know if that's correlated in the past with a lot of directs and stuff like that, but it felt like there was a lot of them.
That's because it was a lot of everything we're showing. It's coming when we say it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you're aware, these aren't games being delayed, COVID delayed. We're done. We tell you these games, they're coming out. Pre-order now. And Nintendo, obviously, I mentioned this, guys. I told you Nintendo was pushing the pre-orders. This whole 14% kickback I get from Best Buy is because of a partnership Nintendo has with an affiliate company that's working with Best Buy. And Nintendo literally told them that they're pushing pre-orders hard to start the year. And now we just saw it in the Direct.
Yeah.
They said pre-order, I mean, God, was it a dozen times?
Yeah, it felt like half the games were pre-ordered
like
today.
Pre-order now, pre-order today, pre-order in the eShop, pre-order. Nintendo's pushing pre-order. Why? I don't know if they're worried. I don't think they need to be worried. They're in a pretty good position, but I don't know.
I think it's just to boost over like sales in general because like the hype is the highest when these game gets announced.
Yeah.
After a few months go by, you might be like, do I really want?
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3 or do I really want this?
Can you grab
what I mean?
now?
But like,
yeah,
if you pre-order, you've already like committed to it. And sure, you can always cancel your pre-order, but a lot of people, if they've already gone through the trouble of doing it, they'll just keep it. But I think it's just to boost overall sales for launch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree. I think it's a business strategy. Get you now. I already pre-ordered. Might as well keep the pre-order.
Or hope you forget about it, and then all of a sudden it shows up, and you're like, oh yeah, I meant to cancel that, but oops.
Yeah.
It's here now.
Well, that's what happened with me with Pokemon Legends Arceus. I pre-ordered it at Amazon, and then I saw that you could get it like the day before launch, technically at GameStop, because they were doing a midnight release. But now I just have 2 copies. Pokemon Legends Arceus. This one's still sealed.
Yeah,
that's right. You keep that sealed copy. 30 years.
And what's super sad is that I was so tired after I got my midnight copy at GameStop that I didn't even play it till after my Amazon copy arrived.
I don't know. Isn't that the thing?
Yeah.
You know, now when you go to these midnight launches, like now that I'm older, I sometimes just don't have the energy when I get home to even open it, and I wonder what was I doing.
Exactly.
Breath of the Wild 2 might be the only one that I legitimately will change my entire sleep schedule to play at midnight if they have a midnight launch. But that's like again a once, well, I guess in this case twice per console generation event.
Right.
For that I would do that.
Right.
Yulia doesn't get too happy about that because I literally, it's like I don't exist for 3 days. Sorry, honey. When that game comes out, I do apologize. I love you. Thanks for supporting.
Well, everyone has that one game that they would pre-order or they would do that for. You know what I mean? They have that one franchise where they make the exception.
I don't do this for all of them, honey. All the other launches, I just wait until the day of and I do it, at night when you're at work. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing now. I'm really, really sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'll plan babysitters if I have to. It's okay. I won't force you to have to be alone with the kids. I'll take care of it. Sorry. Anyways, she understands. She does get frustrated. She gets more frustrated with the E3 stuff than she does like the game stream. Because she'll come down and chill with me on the game stream, but like during the E3 stuff, she's like, I don't want to be down there. Everything they're talking about is so boring. It's like, I get it, honey.
That makes sense.
I get it.
E3 is also long too.
Yeah, very long. 12-hour plus days. It was long. So it's kind of like almost like she'd rather me attend E3 in person than be here doing the show. Hey, so would I, to be honest. So would I. Yeah. Wink, wink. Let's bring it back.
No E3 this year.
Yep. Nope.
I'm still hoping there'll be a digital one, but they haven't technically officially announced it. Which, by the way, isn't unusual. They usually don't announce till April anyways. So that, there's plenty of time for them to decide to do digital. But we'll see.
I'm excited that PAX East is going to be back.
Yeah, PAX East is back. Summer Game Fest is back as well. Which I didn't think it was going to go away anyways. I thought last year was a big improvement for Summer Game Fest, so they're doing that again. All right, I think that's. Is there anything else that we want to mention about this direct? I think before we wrap some things up here, or anything else we want to bring up in general?
I mean, I don't know. We didn't really talk about Splatoon 3 that much. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you guys have a lot to say about it.
Oh, I'm really excited about. Like, I was watching it, and it just looked like more Splatoon. Like, it was instantly. Oh yeah, that's Splatoon Salmon Run coming back. New things. New big baddie. Looks really good. Like that's the thing about Splatoon. It's extremely fun to play. Like, I don't have much to say just watching footage of the multiplayer. It's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Can I play now?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what Splatoon is at this point. Like, I just want to play. Put the game in my hands and I'll play the hell out of it. So that's the thing. It's kind of like, I didn't talk about it because I'm already sold. I've been sold on it this whole time. I'm getting a day one. I don't need to see anymore. And what you're showing me isn't related to the story. It's just related to your multiplayer modes. And I'm cool with that. Okay, now can I play?
Right.
I was hoping for a test fire or something, but I mean, they didn't give us not that they need one for Splatoon. I think they know at this point, but still, it's like, I was just kind of hoping like, oh, you're going to give us a demo? Yeah? Oh. So I don't have much more. Like, do you have anything specifically you want to say about Splatoon 3? Like, that's just how I am with that game. Like, it's just, I've seen enough. Give me it. Want to play.
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't play Splatoon that much. My ex was like, her favorite game was Splatoon 2, so she put like over 1,000 hours of it, so I played a lot just from that. But there was just like a lot of people in the chat that seemed hyped about it, so I just wanted to make sure we brought it up and just talked about it for a little bit.
Well, because it was arguably the biggest game shown today, the Splatoon 3. Like, right, in terms of sales, it's probably the biggest.
Right smack dab in the middle of it, and it's kind of. I'm surprised it wasn't like an end capper type.
Well, I don't think. Here's the thing. It was an end capper last year at the February Direct last year. It was the surprise announcement. I think Nintendo knows. Like, what did I just say? It's not like exciting to see more of Splatoon 3. You know what it is. The excitement is the announcement of it, but we know what Splatoon 3 is. It's a known quantity. It does have a story, but it's not exactly a story-driven game. People just need to play it.
Right.
And I think they know that. So I think they know, like, okay, it can end cap when it's a surprise. Now the surprise is gone. Now it's just let's just give you a tease of some new feature. And hey, just wait for it to come out. So I think Nintendo even knew, like, you can't cap with this. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was a much bigger announcement than this because it's a new game that we haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. Whereas this is like, hey, this is a feature that's returning from a prior game, but with new abilities. Okay, cool. Now you could argue some games that would be a bigger deal, but Splatoon's kind of like their Call of Duty. They don't really need it to cap things. But yeah, that's just the way I feel about it, anyways. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they announced a Fire Emblem spinoff, but then didn't give us a new Fire Emblem game. Oh, that was a bit shocking.
One thing that I mentioned at the very beginning of this that I never actually brought up, I'm super excited for, is MLB The Show 22.
Yeah,
finally coming to Switch. And
what are your thoughts?
Play that back, the graphics actually looked awesome. Like, it looked really good. Sony should make more Switch games. Like, they did a great job.
Come on, Sony. Get on it.
Yeah.
More Switch games, please.
But what I'm most excited for about that is, like, as someone who, has always had a PlayStation Vita, one of the coolest things was, like, being able to play games that came out for Vita and PS3 or Vita and PS4, and being able, you had to buy both versions, but you could play on your home console, and then it was the Switch before the Switch, because then you could play it also on your Vita. And MLB The Show 22 has that. You can play on your PS5, have like a season, Road to the Show, whatever. Your save goes right over to your Switch, and you can continue playing it on the go on the Switch.
Yeah, I thought that was a brilliant. When they said that, I'm like, this is brilliant.
That is so cool.
Why are they not doing this with every game?
Buy 2 copies of the game to do that.
Yeah.
So, but like for someone like me, who I mentioned this last week, I put hundreds of hours into every MLB game because I simulate like years in the future, and like the graphics don't matter that much to me. So like the fact that I can play it on my PlayStation and then like play it on my Switch and then keep playing on my PlayStation, and it's all the same save file, like I'm just hyped for that. That's sick. And it actually, like the actual gameplay on the Switch, like I said, like the graphics looked really nice.
Yeah, I thought it looked fine. The graphics to me looked a little. This isn't me. I'm trying to be fair because I've obviously played it on other platforms, so I know how well the game actually looks. I thought it looked a little rough around the edges, but I also said this while I was watching.
But like
it.
any other sports game on the Switch, like FIFA
but
or
there's not.
RBI
There's
baseball.
there's not really other sports games.
FIFA,
I mean, there's RBI baseball, I guess, is probably
right. And like this just blows it all out of the water.
Oh yeah. The only thing I said, and I said this, and I said, look, it does look a little bit rough around the edges, a little bit to me, a little bit of flat textures going on, but I'll say this. I know why. If this thing's running 60 FPS, I don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. If this thing is hitting full gameplay parity with other versions, I don't care how much they downgraded to do it.
Yeah.
Because that matters. If you're having full crossplay, full everything, carrying seasons between systems, the gameplay being silky smooth matters more than anything. So I'm like, look, even if you like me and thought it looked rough, I'm like, I don't care as long the gameplay looked fine. And that's what I cared about. And granted, it was a very small clip, and who really knows? But assuming, and Digital Foundry will let us know at launch, they'll be like, hey, does it actually hold up at frame rate wise? I don't know. But if it does, that was the right choice. And on a small screen, by the way, it's not going to look bad anyways. Just to be clear. Like, this was me blown up on a 4K monitor when I'm going to be playing on a screen like this.
That, I'm going to play it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm only going to play Switch version and handheld.
Yeah, so like, on a small screen, I probably won't even care about the visuals. I think it'll look fine because I played baseball games back on the Vita too. Like I played on the Vita. I thought it was really cool back then.
NBA
so
2K on there too.
What?
NBA.
Oh yeah, they have NBA 2K out there. NBA 2K it's kind of interesting because it looks rough around the edges now compared to current 2Ks, but that's because one thing I've noticed about NBA 2K on Switch is it basically doesn't look visually any different every year.
Yeah.
It's basically the exact same game every year. However, to 2K's credit, they actually have kept feature parity. And I like that. They didn't pull a Madden on Wii U where it's an old game missing features. Yeah, the visuals are downgraded, but we're going to keep feature parity. And I like that. So that's been probably the best handled sports game on Switch, where it's been completely feature parity. They don't have the whole cross save thing. I wish they would do that, but that's neither here nor there. I think MLB The Show is setting a new standard by doing that. And I think that's a standard I hope to see.
That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I hope to see 2K adapt that in the future. Be like, look, let's do it. Yeah, it's half the frame rate, whatever. Let's do it. Let's make feature parity and cross play it and cross saves and let people sim seasons on the go and have all that fun. So that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. This will be the first MLB The Show I bought in a long time. Because I don't always have the time to sit in front of my TV and game.
It's been almost a year since I've bought one.
Oh, wow. Oh man. And I don't always have time to sit in front of it because like, baseball is a game I like to heavily invest in the team management aspect. Mm-hmm. And
exactly.
It takes time. It takes time. And I don't always have the time to sit down and do it at my TV. But like if I'm watching my kids and they're watching a movie and I've already seen this movie a billion times, screw it. I'll bust out my Switch and manage my team and have some fun. And know that I can fully transfer to other platforms. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And for me, I don't have to buy it twice. Yeah. Because I can just get it for Xbox. And it's on Game Pass.
Well, yeah, I have Xbox too, but I'm still going to buy it for PS5.
Oh, man. Sure.
I mean, it's fine. You play it on the platform you want to play it on. Who cares? I don't care. If you want to spend money and have all three versions, be my guess.
Well, I also just really want to have the physical version. And
sure. I can understand.
I'm a big Shohei Ohtani fan, and he's on the cover.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I think it's going to sell like pong. Dude, I'm curious how well this sells on Switch in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, he is so huge in Japan, and Switch is massive. And I think that was the number one driving factor to bring it. And I think the sales are going to be pretty insane in Japan. I can't wait to see how, and I don't know. I think that was literally the entire point of putting it on Switch, is because look who the cover athlete is. We want to be in Japan doing really, really well. This is the perfect combination right now. So excited about that. And dude, he just as a baseball fan in general, I have a great appreciation for Ohtani, man. He's throwback player if there ever was. Mm-hmm. That great at hitting that you keep him playing every single day, but he's also that great of a pitcher. Like Babe Ruth, like this. This is awesome.
Sure.
He's literally like, Mike Trout might be the best hitter in baseball. I don't know. But
no.
Ohtani might be the best
Jr.
player. What?
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is.
Okay. That's fine.
Vlad Jr. is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
he led the league in home runs.
He would. I would start throwing my boy Christian Yelich in, but he did not do good last year. Yelich was really, really bad last year. God damn it. He was up there. He was one of the best. Nah, hopefully it was a one-off
here. He took
a
baseball to the knee.
Wait, yeah. Who was bad last year?
Christian Yelich.
Oh, yeah.
He was great.
He literally blew. He had an amazing 2 years, and then
he took a baseball to the knee.
Baseball to the knee.
Serious.
Yeah, I know he did. I know he did.
By taking a baseball to the knee.
I know he did. But we'll see. Hopefully it was just a 1 year.
The reason I love Vlad Jr. is because the minor league team for the AA team for the Blue Jays is 15 minutes away from me. In Manchester, New Hampshire. And I watched Vlad Jr. play every day for like a full season in AA. And he crushed it. He hit like almost 400. And then to see him go and just crush it in the big leagues.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like he should have won MVP this year because he had a much better season than Ohtani as a hitter. You know what I mean? Like, he hit more home runs than he led the league in home runs.
Yeah.
It's 311 as opposed to 250, which Ohtani hit.
No, for sure.
The thing is, Ohtani has the value as the pitcher.
A little bit into the
does 9 wins as a pitcher make up of 60 points in batting average? According to voters, it does. But I love Ohtani too, so I'm not like...
Yeah, I think Ohtani is just one of those unique players where it's like it's hard to ignore the full package when you're voting it, because it is MVP. Technically, it doesn't mean it has to be a hitter. It could be a phenomenal... But like, a pitcher could go third. And the thing is, there's like, a pitching, but there is also a bad...
If you're above average as a hitter and a pitcher, does that mean you get to win an MVP? No, I feel like you have to be the best pitcher in the league or the best hitter at the league. Ohtani was neither. He was very good at both, but he wasn't the best hitter and he wasn't the best pitcher. That's my thing.
No, I hear you.
But it was a historical season. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not on the voting panel. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I just think Ohtani's an amazing player. So
he is. He deserved it too. I just love Vladdy.
I hear you on that. We can go back and forth on MVP debates in every sport if we ever.
Yeah, as long as we acknowledge that Giannis does not deserve one. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see your eyes.
I knew you were gonna go there, you bastard. I knew it.
Great.
No,
I knew it. Here
Giannis.
we go. Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me LeBron James is still better than Giannis. So,
well, I'm just kidding.
But they just went and played him, and Giannis destroyed him. So, anyways. By the way, LeBron is having an amazing year 19. I've never seen a player play the way he can in year 19. So good for him. Not good for his team. His team is sorry, Laker fans. I'm not really sorry. You guys are like the Yankees. You're used to always being good. I'm really sorry that for once you're really not that good. And the small market teams like Miami. Well, Miami's not that small of a market, to be fair. The Bucks, the Cleveland Cavaliers are even having a really good year. Phoenix Suns are doing obviously awesome 2 years in a row now. I'm just saying, like, it's okay that other teams in the NBA now matter. It's cool. Of course, we say all that, and all of a sudden Golden State's now back, and they end up back in the finals just because they're healthy and Clay and Steph are back. What?
To me, the more teams that matter, it's better for the NBA.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think the way the East is, this is getting into a whole nother debate, but the way the East is right now, I think is really healthy for the NBA. Like, there are legitimately 6 or 7 teams that you can see, hey, you know what? You might come out of the East. Hey, you might come out of the East. You might come out of like the records are so close. The Nets are down at the 7 or 8 seed, but everyone knows that they're healthy. They can make a run. So there's just there's a lot of parity. That's good. It's always good. It also really interests fan bases because everyone thinks they can win, except right now, Laker fans. Sorry. And I'm RGT. I'm sorry about your Knicks, man. I'm so sorry about your Knicks. You had hope. They gave you hope for like a month, and I'm sorry.
The Celtics aren't far off from the Knicks. The Celtics would be in the playoffs today, I think, but the Celtics
actually have been on a nice run lately to get themselves up in the 30 win plus category and try to get.
They should be so much better than they are. Like Brown and Tatum is one of the best young duos, and like they're really underperforming. It's frustrating, but
yeah, no, I can't imagine what it's like to be a Celtics fan to have Brown and Tatum and just not ever get anywhere.
No, the ones that
that has to be so frustrating. No, I mean it was frustrating having Giannis back-to-back MVPs and just get bounced in the playoffs. It's like this, like what more can we do? 60 plus wins. What are we doing?
Still can't be as frustrating as 76er.
But then we got a title, so I can't even complain now. So.
I mean, 76er fans have
76ers
and Ben Simmons and
76ers fans also. Yeah, they can't get to the Eastern Conference. They just can't. We just can't get. We're the number 1 seed. Can't get past Trae Young and the Atlanta. Wow. Wait, you lost a must-win game late in the game. Ben Simmons has a free layup and he passes. I'm sorry that's the state of your team right now. That's that's not even that's high school level. Your wide open layup. You just take it.
Mm-hmm. He definitely.
They're not even contested. You just.
Oh, someone
you just put it in the hoop.
Aaron Rodgers is like Giannis without the title. Aaron Rodgers has a title.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
he won a Super Bowl.
That is funny. Aaron Rodgers is like Giannis with all this. I love it. Oh boy, it's gonna be fun to watch the Packers this upcoming year, especially if Rodgers is gone. It's gonna be a great year. At least I won't have. I'll say this: if Rodgers is gone, just as an aside, because say we trade him or whatever, or he retires or something, whatever he decides to do. I will say this: it will be nice to go into a season and not actually expect to be in the playoffs. I'm so used to I expect to be in the playoffs and be a Super Bowl contender. Rodgers gone. My expectation is I just want to see the young guys play and see how well they do.
I want to see a quarterback.
That's what it's been like being a Patriots fan the last couple of years. You're pretty used to making the playoffs.
But that's the thing. Like I'm okay with like here's the thing. I've been spoiled as a Packers fan. We went far to Rodgers and barely missed playoffs like ever. So I'm okay with getting rid of the Super Bowl expectation after having it all these years and always getting disappointed when we get bounced. To be like, let's just see what the young guys do and just chill for a little while. This doesn't mean I don't want Aaron Rodgers back. It's fine. Let's go for another run. It's just, at some point you see the story play out enough that you're just like, you know what? I'm okay being a team that isn't always expected to win a Super Bowl, but always falls short. I'm kind of, and I'm not blaming Rodgers specifically
for me but the last the first 18 years, since the 2000s started, like the first 18 years, we only won a third of the Super Bowls. That's so frustrating. Like we only could win 6 out of 18. It's rough.
God, it's so frustrating.
It's tough being a Patriots fan,
Yeah. God, those like that 2-year span where we didn't make the Super Bowl twice in a row, like, dude, those are such disappointing rebuilding. I couldn't handle it.
Exactly.
Couldn't handle it. I mean, gosh, we only had the most disappointing end to a season ever. We were 18-0. We had 50 touchdown, buddy. We had Randy Moss still in his prime, and like
that was rough.
I can imagine.
We lost to Eli Manning. Eli Manning.
You lost Eli Manning twice.
Not gonna lie,
I was gonna say I was happy. I was happy.
I'm sorry, Jake, but I was so damn happy.
I think he's used to it. He's got to be used to it. Nobody outside of that area likes the Patriots, and I think he knows that. Right? You realize that people don't like the Patriots.
Yeah, because they hate us because they hate us.
Yeah. Hey, we're used to it. By the way, we're used to it as Packer fans. Almost everybody hates the Packers. If you're not a Packers fan, everybody hates the Packers. So the funny thing is like, oh yeah, it's because of Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, no, people have been hating for like decades because they just don't like that we're always in the playoffs. They just don't like it. The Detroit Lions are extremely jealous that we're just always winning the division. Like, yeah, that's just what. Congrats, Bears! You chimed up. Bears! You won the division. What you won?
I don't know about the Lions being jealous. They've been kind of just.
They might be jealous of the Rams right now, though.
They might be. But
we got your quarterback and went to the Super Bowl year one because we know how to build a team.
The Bears and Vikings are the ones that are kind of probably.
Oh, the Bears hate us.
Because
Bears fans hate
they're
us.
just on the.
I will say, if this was Rodgers last year, at least he gave us the "I own you" phrase in Chicago. I'm sorry, I love that. You can hate Aaron Rodgers all you want. The Packers own the Bears with Brett Favre and Rodgers. It's not even. We would just dominate the Bears. It's awesome. Because the Bears, like before Favre, they were ahead like 40 something games in the series, and now we're ahead.
Yeah.
So like, I could see why Bears fans would really not be happy with it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, Bears! Congrats, you won the division this year. That's okay. It'll be ours again next. Don't worry. Congrats. You still suck. You still got bounced.
Yeah.
Sexy Rexy threw a nice pick 6 to end the Super Bowl for you.
Yep.
Sorry. We're not sports fans around here at all.
I was actually rooting for them in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Vikings when they had Favre in the NFC. I wasn't rooting for them in the NFC Championship game until I saw all the cheap shots that were happening to Favre, and I was like, wait a second. And that's when right after that's when it broke. They had that whole scandal going on with Bountygate, where they legitimately were offering money to basically take players out. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you just watch that game and you're like, okay, this isn't normal. Favre just threw the ball and he's fucking decked. This is not like, okay, even back in the 90s, this wasn't okay. You couldn't throw the ball and then 2 seconds later get your head ripped off. Like that's not football. That's legit trying to hurt someone. So, and then on top of that, you had Adrian Peterson when he had 3 fumbles.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So like, I felt like I didn't actually want them to win the Super Bowl, to be clear. Mm-hmm. Favre winning the Super Bowl in a Vikings uniform would have made me cry.
It would have been great to see him go to another one and lose it. But,
and a lot of people were happy that like, oh, Favre threw that interception. I'm like, yeah, but also it would have been nice to see him with the ball in overtime. And that game did lead to the overtime rule change where he couldn't just play for a field goal. But anyways, that's going to do it.
Enough sports.
That's going to do it for the podcast, guys. It was a lot of fun. Today was obviously a really great day for Nintendo fans. For most Nintendo fans, I'm sure there are some people disappointed with the Direct, didn't get the games you want. Thought it was a C-tier Direct, maybe worse. Hey, you know what? They can't please everybody. Just like my channel can't please everybody. It's impossible to please them all. That's just the way it is. But I hope that a majority of you guys enjoyed the podcast, enjoyed the banter, enjoyed Jake just destroying me on my own arguments. Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was fun. Only true friends can do that, by the way.
For having me.
Other guests, I'm like, and where's that mute button?
Yeah, right. Oh, we lost.
We lost connection. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I would never do that to another guest, but no, it's a lot of love, a lot of respect around these parts. We're obviously always glad to have Jake on. You guys should go check out Jake Randall. I'll put a little pop-up in the chat right now if you guys go to subscribe to his channel. We also have it linked down in the description as well. You can follow him on Twitter as well. Jake Randall, what is it? Jake Randall _YT or something on Twitter?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember the exact. I don't know. I've been following it for a couple of years now. So
Close enough.
Close enough.
I mean,
you'll find it. If you just type
Twitter,
Jake Randall, I think in the search it'll pop up. Anyways, yep. So glad to have you on, Jake. As always, you're always welcome back. You'll just let me know when you're available to do it again. You did 2 weeks in a row. Let me know the next time you're able to come on, and we'll make it happen, because I usually only schedule my guests out about a week ahead of time. So like I think,
no. Thank you, Nate and Eric, and thank you, chat. You guys were awesome. I had a great time.
Awesome. Well, hey, that was a lot of fun. You can catch all of our episodes of the podcast on wherever podcasts are heard, your Spotify, your Apple iTunes. All that great stuff. In fact, we have a giveaway going on right now for a Switch OLED, PlayStation 5, or Xbox Series X. And no, the chat's going to ask because Jake is here. Nate, have you bought the system yet? No, because I have to wait for the winner to choose which one they want. And I don't want to spend $1,300 and just sit on a system and I'm only giving away one of them. And then people choose the one that I don't want. So then, or the one that I want. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And then you can say, well, Nate, just spend $1,300 and give them all away. Hey now. Let's calm down. I'm putting new floors in my house. Let's chill for a moment, okay? I got new sets to build. I got people here. I got mouths to feed. But no. Well, I will get the system. I've been paying enough attention to my area every time Jake is streaming and poking around. I've been noticing it's actually getting a little bit easier at my local Target specifically to get the systems on the drops. So I'm pretty confident I'll be able to get you guys your system if you win pretty within a month, bare minimum. I think I'll be able to get off if I stay on top of it, which I plan to. Those morning drops, I can make it happen. So. All right. You can follow Eric on Twitter at emo8790. He will read your tweets at him. He probably will never respond. Yeah. But he will read them.
I will.
And we'll just catch you guys next week.
Yeah.
Same time, same place.
Later.
Peace out, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.